We're live, yo. See, we live,
Live and alive.
live and alive. All you come in, all you come in. Where y'all coming in from? Where y'all coming in from? All y'all come in, yo. See, we gonna get into this OG Unk Sharp,
You mean the drunk unk?
drunk Unk. All you come in, all you come in. Arizona. Shout out Christina from Arizona. We got to get into drunk Unk today. China G, shout out to you. China G, always a thought leader. You got me saying that too. All that come in. All that come in. Oh man. Yeah, guys, I'm still away, so you guys are gonna see my flickering background, but it's because I'm by my cousin, so I don't have I have respect. I don't show other people's crib when I don't have the permission to. Mookie B, what's up? What's up, Mookie B? I think you're from New York too, right? At Conversations with Jay, you're right most times than you weren't. Appreciate that. Maureen Comey was fired. Do you feel more vindicated? That's a good question, GD. GD, where you coming in from? Christina, I have loved all the P. Diddy coverage. That's how I found you. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. That was all planned. It was all part of our master plan. Yeah, yeah. Mookie B is from NYC. What else we got? I couldn't even watch 5 minutes of a video from a lady on YouTube with a big platform claiming Diddy got Maureen going fired. That woman has no integrity. I don't know who it is, but oh, GD, you're from NJ. Okay, all
I think
right, all
I
right,
have an idea.
all right. Yeah. Hey, y'all. Real quick, we'll get into this Maureen Comey stuff because I know a lot of people have had a lot of stuff to say about it. As you can see, this is not the topic of the video today, but I did plan to talk about it in the intro anyways. The reason why we didn't do a video on this, to be honest with you guys, I'm not that kind of, I'm not like that. I usually like to do my research. I usually like to understand stuff before I start speaking. I'm very, very quick to listen and slow to speak. So that's the reason why I don't just like start talking and saying, all of that kind of, hey, it's because of this, it's because of that, stuff like that. As you guys can see right here behind me, words equal actions, actions equal habits, and habits equal character. And obviously, character ends up becoming your destiny. So for me, I really am very slow to speak because I know that whatever I say is coming from my mind, but it also goes into the atmosphere. It goes into my conscious mind, right? It's coming from my subconscious mind, but it goes into my conscious mind. And then for my conscious mind, if I keep telling this narrative over and over again, all of a sudden I start to act in line and in step with this narrative. Once I start acting in line and in step with the narrative that came from my conscious mind that I spoke out into the world, and digested into my from my subconscious mind, put into the world, digested into my conscious mind, then those start to build habits. Habits build character, as we're going to talk about Mr. Sharp today. Habits build character, and then character really depicts your destiny. All right. Zoo and we're gonna get into this Maureen Comey thing because you put that back in a second. But Zoo says, big black man choke small. I can't even read that one. I can't even read that one. Facts. Facts. Apparently, that's what he said. That's what he said. That's what he said. So we also I don't know if that was fantasy talk or what. Try to give people the benefit of the doubt, but we're gonna dive in to the warning signs of this guy today. We were all warned, and if you still looked up to him after you saw all the warning signs, then here's the thing that you can change for the next time that you look up to somebody. Here's the thing you can change, because remember, anybody we call Unc or OG or something like that, that's that's a term of endearment. That's us saying I respect you, I look up to you, I not want to be like you, but I want to be in line with your path. Like that same type of path, I respect it, and I want to have that same type of path for myself. And my point is that we have to be very, very skeptical. We have to be very, very skeptical about this stuff, because with this Shannon Sharpe stuff, thing is, he's an athlete and he's rich, and he got richer after he was an athlete. He's in the Football Hall of Fame. This is somebody that a lot of people looked up to because he works hard. All athletes work hard to get to where they are. I don't know if they work hard when they get there, but I'm an athlete as well. And all I'm saying, guys, is that we have to be very, very choosy in who we choose to model our behavior or look up to after. Anyways, model our behavior or look up to after. Da 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 bop bop bop. Special K, shout out to you. Day one. J and J and J and C. Salute. Salute the chat. Yes, salute the chat. Mark Jag says, black men have to be yeah, more disciplined. I mean, here's the thing, Mark Jag. One of the things I will say, and I've had this conversation with many women before, because I've had many women, and I'm sure you probably have as well, Mark J. I've had many women tell me black men this or black men that. And what my response was is, it's not black men, it's all men. That was my response to her, or well, to them, because there was more than one woman. It's not black men, it's all men. If you go to Serbia, I spent a lot of time in Serbia. I lived there not for quite a year, but damn near like months. If you go to Serbia, Serbian women are going to tell you Serbian men are crap. If you go to Poland, Poland women are going to tell you Polish men are crap. If you go to, and I've traveled over 30 countries, I can go over and over again. If you go to Spain, Spanish women are going to tell you Spanish men are crap. You go to Panama, then Panamanian women are going to say Panamanian men ain't ish. If you go to the Caribbean, the Caribbean women are gonna. If you go to India, Indian women, like it's a pattern. So it's not just. I agree with your comment, but I wouldn't just say black men. I would say all men need more discipline. Obviously, all people need more discipline, but I would say all men need more discipline. Just as you and I are talking as men. Go ahead, see. You sound. It looks like you're something's in your eye, like you're blind.
Yeah, just to clarify and to just put it out there, us Caribbean men are perfect.
Well, that would mean I'm perfect. So, and I know I'm not, my guy. So just hold up. But Mark Jag did respond saying, I focus on black men because I am black. Yes, okay. Yeah, absolutely. Same. And that's our community, right? So we're a part of our community. So we want to, you know, you know, make sure that our community does better. And remember, most of our communities are led by men. So we have to, it's good to have female leaders. And it is also good that we understand that black leaders will go male black leaders will go further in our community or any community. Like the way the world is set up, and like I say all the time, it's a man's world. The way the world is set up and the way most of our societies are set up is that sorry, I shouldn't say black, males in any race, whether white, black, Chinese, Indians, Hispanic, anything, males set the trends and they're the leaders. Women are also leaders, but in our society, it's that males, there are more males in leadership roles. That's my point, right? And so that's why we made this channel, and that's why we want to really expose patterning our behavior after the right type of people. Now, before we get into that,
Hold
go
on,
ahead.
Jay. Something that came to my mind as well, a certain kind of narrative that's been pushed, but in such a subtle way. If you think about it, don't you feel like there's this perceived notion that black leaders are lacking, that there's a lacking of black leaders? I feel like us media, news outlets, and social media on a whole have trickled this kind of narrative in such a subtle way that you if you're to actually think about it, you're like, yeah, it seemed like all the content I've consumed is saying that like black leaders are lacking, black male leaders. to be more
Or
specific.
maybe you gotta check your algorithm if that's the content you consume. But but I just I think it's leaders in general.
Mm,
I think it's leaders in general. There's a lack of leadership. All you guys know, that's why we started this. I'm not gonna sit here and say Diddy was a great leader, right? I'm not even gonna say he was a great leader. He inspired a lot of people. But there's a big difference between inspiration and leadership. Inspiration doesn't mean that you got to stick around. You can inspire somebody and be out. You could inspire somebody to do something and then you go about your business. And that person might never see you again. There's many people who've inspired me to do something and I've not even spoken to them again, or maybe I've ran into them randomly somewhere. I remember there's one person that inspired me to make a certain move in my life, and never never ran into this person again. And last year I ran into this person. He's in the real estate industry. I don't want to say his name because he's on a real estate TV show in New York, but he inspired me. We just so happened to just buck up at a conference, and he inspired me to do a certain thing in my business. It changed my entire business, and he challenged me, and he actually said to me, "Don't be a P word, kitty cat P word." He said, "Don't be a P word." I'll never forget those words. I ran into him at a restaurant in New York like last year, and or maybe it was earlier this year. I don't remember, but I was taking a client out, and I was going out of the restaurant, and he was coming into the restaurant. I was like, "Yo," and I told him, I said, you said these words that inspired me, and we never spoke again. But I appreciate you for saying those words. That's not leadership. That's inspiration. That's what Puff did. Leadership is a constant role. You got to constantly lead. You can't be a great leader if you choose to lead today and not lead tomorrow. It's something you sign up for the entirety of whatever you're leading, right? And you guys know I'm a believer. So I'll give you a perfect example. Whether you believe it or not, the story still exists. Okay. Moses was a great leader. But the minute he messed up in being a leader, God told Moses, "You ain't going to the promised land. You ain't going. You messed up." And the whole thing was he was leading them to the promised land. And he never got to see the promised land. Because that to me is God telling us you can't stop being a leader. Like you can't choose to say, okay, well, I've led and I'm good." Like, so if you're signing up for this, if you're a parent, for example, or if you're older brother or sister, for example, or if you're older cousin or an older, uncle or auntie, for example, and you choose to take on that role, because remember, we don't always have to be leaders. Not everybody has to be a leader. That's a choice. That's a choice. You don't have to. It's not your responsibility to be a leader. It's not your responsibility to be a leader. It's your responsibility to be positive influence for the people around you. But a positive influence or an inspirational person or a motivational person, those are just here and there. But if you choose to actually be a leader, you got to take up your cross and carry it. You have to actually go and stick with it. You got to go right through. You can't just pick your spots, because that's not what leadership is. And I really want to um, encourage you guys that this this not I'm targeting Sharp. I'm targeting him, not knowing if he signed up to be a leader or not. If he's watching this video, or any of the people who know him are watching this video, I don't have a problem with whether he's a leader or not a leader. And with Puff, he was very inspirational. I don't have a problem with whether he's a leader or not a leader. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, a lot of us look up to these people because they're in positions of power or high authority, or at least fame or wealth. And so we look up to these people, and they didn't necessarily sign up for this. So this is not a knock on Sharp. This is a wake up call for us. That's what this video is about. It's not a knock on Sharp or a knock on Puff or any of these people. You followed Puff, your life would be in the toilet. There's very few people around him that have great lives. Probably his kids, his family, and maybe his closest people to him. But I was at the trial every day except for Thursdays. Everybody got fired or just in the toilet now, or struggling with mental health or addictions, or like everybody that was around him. And all you got to do is look at the record, the people like Loon, Lil Kim, Shine, Black Rob, like all these people. But you can't blame Puff for them. You can't blame Puff. Faith Evans, Biggie. Biggie's not even here with us. The same with Black Rob, right? So, but you can't blame Puff because he never really was a leader. He was inspirational in what he did. And that could be the same thing for Sharpe. I'm just saying, be careful who you follow. Because if you follow the person that's not really a leader, that's just an inspirational person or a motivator, you might follow them right off a cliff. And that's what a lot of these people did with people like that. So this video is not to break down or bring down Shannon Sharpe or bring down anybody else. This video is to bring you guys up, to just point out some certain signs that we should have saw, point out some certain things that we should have saw. And we have a good video for you guys today because we break it all down that, hey, you see that? We turned a blind eye to it, but that was obvious. You see that? We turned a blind eye to that too, but it was obvious. You see that? We turned a blind eye to that too, but it was obvious. So that's all I'm just trying to show you guys a little, if I could, if I may, just kick a little knowledge to you guys that I had to learn the hard way. All right. Before all that, let's get into this Comey thing, this Comey situation. All right. Let's get on to this Comey situation. So, can you throw a photo? Replace me with a photo of Comey, or remember that photo that the thumbnail, see, that we had with Comey and Puff, and I had you be creative with it. You know what I'm talking about, right? If you're talking, I can't hear
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, let's get that on the screen real quick. But let's get into this Comey thing. So, Moureen Comey has been fired. Okay, this happened either yesterday morning or the day before. She has been fired. A lot of people have a lot of opinions. Some people say the Epstein files. Some people say Trump never liked the family. Some people say it was all because she lost the Diddy case. Some people say it's deeper than that. Some, like, there's a lot. Some people say that she was. I heard this theory floating around that she was doing bribery or something like that. I'd like to hear the theories that you guys have heard. If you guys could put in the chat, I want to hear some of these theories that you guys have heard. What have you guys heard? Um, what have you guys heard? Let's see. I think there's another theory that I thought was actually very interesting, um, which was that Comey was the one that for those of you guys who weren't in the trial, what happened was there was some sort of document that was leaked, or something that was leaked to the press, and the press printed out an article, and the judge literally called both parties in, and the judge said, yo, how did this get to the press? It was a closed hearing, and only both parties were involved. We weren't even involved, like the like people like me who were in the trial, or the jury wasn't there. It was just the lawyers and the defendant. That's the only people who were in the room. The prosecution team and the defense team and Puff. Whatever was spoken there got leaked to the press. And then the press wrote an article about it. Okay. And basically the judge was like trying to get to the bottom, like what really happened here? And he basically, everybody said, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. And the judge, this part we were there for, when the judge was questioning them about it. This part we were there for. And the judge said, somebody's lying. Somebody's lying. And now people are saying it was probably Moureen Comey. Now they have proof that she's the one that leaked it to the press. You're laughing about something. See, go ahead.
Oh, you don't see? I put up the photo with her, like the one where she's crying, the AI photo that we
Oh,
have.
you put it up? I can't see it. I can't see it,
Damn.
but well, big it up on the screen. Put me out. Put me out. Put me out. People can still hear me. Put me out.
Yeah. So we got ChatGPT to create this. All we did was just drop a photo in there and
But I
just
still
in
can't
case.
see it. You got to take both of us out and put it only on the screen.
Yeah.
No, I can still see
Well, I
you.
can't.
Now I can only see me.
All right.
But as you're doing that, you could take both of us off and put that up, because that's just hilarious. Um, as you're doing that, I'll turn my camera off. Maybe that will help. As you're doing that,
No,
I believe.
Jay,
Pardon
they
me.
people are seeing what they're supposed to see. You're just seeing something different on your end.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't.
because
I
I'm
don't
not
think.
seeing me or you. I'm just seeing the photo of Maureen Comey.
Yes, I understand that, but you still have both of us on the
Well,
on.
how are they gonna hear us?
They can. Hey, yo, if you guys can see Cody, if you guys can see C, put a one in the chat.
Don't call me Cody. You already gave away my name.
No, I said CC. That's why. If you guys can see C, put a one in the chat. Nobody can see. It seems like. If you guys can't see C, put a two in the chat. I don't see any of you. All right, there you go. Can't see
Exactly.
either of you. All right, there we go. Um, okay. So look, as long as you guys can see what's supposed to be there, that's all that matters. Because I can't see it on my end. Here's the thing. Here's my opinion on what happened to homie Comey. Okay. The first line of defense for the six pack of white woman. Okay. I didn't make up that word. I didn't make up that phrase. It was um Gergos, Mark Gergos that said that. I believe I'm believing this timeline. We're gonna make a video about it, but just stay with me real quick. Okay. First thing that happened. The first thing that happened was the Jamaican guy. I always forget his name. Damien something. If you guys know what his name is, put it in the chat. He was, and some people say Diageo. CEO stepped down. I don't know. I don't know. But first thing that happened was I think it's Damian Williams. Damian Williams, he arrested Diddy. He was responsible for the indictment. That was politically driven because he was running for office. Okay, yeah, Damian Williams. Thank you. He was running for office. Okay. Now, this is way back in September of 2024. And you guys know what happened in November of 2024. What happened at that time was there was an election. The Democrats lost the election. Damian Williams was put into power because of Biden. However, the Biden administration lost. So what happened? He stepped down because he realized he's not going to be able to run for office for at least the next 4 years. Maureen Comey, who's the the daughter of, sometimes I think she's the son, but the daughter of the head of the FBI, she ended up overtaking the case. Okay. She was next in line. She inherited that Puff case. She never went after Puff to begin with. So what happened is once Trump got elected and then got in office, which took us to January, this case was already fully underway and Maureen Comey had already been waiting on it. And from what I understand, from what I read, I may be wrong. If you guys are here and anybody knows the law better than me, like maybe you've researched it more, or that's your job. What I understand is that you're not allowed to remove a person under the article that they removed her with, or with, you're not allowed to remove a federal attorney when they're in the middle of a case until the case is done. And so that's from my understanding from what I read. Okay, you guys can tell me if that's right or that's wrong. I'm not 100% sure because I haven't done enough research. However, What I will say is she was in the middle of it anyway, so no person in their right mind is going to say, yeah, you're out of here when she's the leader of the case. So in January, she was already halfway through this case before the trial. What was one of the first things that Trump did? He fired her father as the head of the FBI. Now there's history there between Trump and the father. Okay, I think it's Mike Comey. I don't remember his name. Um, but there's history there between the father and Trump. He fired the father, and then as soon as this trial was done, he fired the daughter,
His name is James Comey.
James Comey, Mike James. Yeah, Mike James. Yeah. Um, so that's what ended up happening. Now, my question is, if she had won, would she still have been fired? Because it is bad optics. It's really bad optics, right? If she had won, would she have been fired? Because it's easy to fire somebody when they lose, but if they win and then you fire the head coach, it's like, why'd you fire the head coach? That don't make no sense. So I just wonder, put a one in the chat if you think she would have got fired either way. Now, Trump is Trump. He will do whatever. He don't give a damn. That's what I think. So I think either way she would have got fired. But do you think if she would have won this case, maybe put a poll up, see if Moureen Comey would have won the case, would she have been fired? If you could put that poll up, I'd really like to know. You guys
No,
put a,
doing StreamYard.
pardon me?
I can't do it using
Oh,
StreamYard.
okay, gotcha. So if you guys don't mind, give me a one in the chat if you think she would have got fired either way. Give me a two in the chat if you think she got fired because she lost the case. Okay. All right. While we're waiting for that, I really would like to count these votes. GD says one either way. China G says one either way. One either way. Yeah, you guys are with me. I think Trump would have did whatever the hell he wanted to do, and I think he already wanted to fire her. I don't think this has anything to do with the Epstein thing. I don't think it has anything to do with Diddy per se. I think it's just that he had to wait until the trial was over to fire her anyway. I think it's that simple. Now, I may be wrong. I don't know enough about it, and that's why I don't talk about it. That's why we didn't make a video about it. And I'm waiting for more information to come out. And then if I get enough information and I'm comfortable to give my real analyst or about it, then I'll do I'll do my little spew. You guys know how I do. But this is just my opinion for now, so I think it's safe to be in unalive. Universal Slack says won, but losing was icing on the cake. Yes, it was. I saw some crazy headlines today. Diddy gets the last laugh. I saw another one. It was like Diddy got one last kick before he went out the door or something like that. So yeah, guys, share this video, please. Like and share this video. First off, let's start from the end with this Shannon Sharpe thing with his apology, and then we're gonna go right back to the history of Shannon Sharpe and all of the things that we should have known. Now, see, the reason why I was specific about making sure that I can see what's going on is because if I can't see the screen, like I'm gonna actually go get my phone in a second, because if I can't see the screen, I don't know what you're playing and I don't know what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna go get my phone. In the meantime, play his apology. We'll start there, and then we're going to reverse back, and we're going to dissect why this is not UNC, this is not OG, this is none of that. All right, so let's start there. Play that video, please, his apology. Not the apology, but the response to his most recent lawsuit.
Supporters and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and played into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey, Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Busby want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about. And I'm going to be out there telling you whatever I need to say, just like I always do. I love all you guys.
Let me get one more time, please.
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey, Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Busby want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about. And I'm going to be out there telling you whatever I need to say, just like I always do. I love all you guys.
Yeah, this guy's another level. This guy is another level. Bro, don't attach this guy attached his lawsuit because the Jay-Z and Puff lawsuit was also by Tony Busby. Here's OG 101. Here's Unc 101. If I'm in a lawsuit with somebody and somebody else, let's say C is in a lawsuit with the same person, I'm not going to defend myself by calling out C. You understand? First of all, innocent people don't do that. But real OGs don't do that. When I heard it, was like, he's the same one that has a lawsuit against, that Jay-Z had a lawsuit. So it's because Jay was winning his lawsuit and it was total bogus. You're attaching your wagon to his wheels. These are the things we got to look at, guys. These are put a 1 in the chat if you feel what I'm saying. Yes, Tony Busby is the ambulance chaser. I agree with that, Special K. But you don't. Oh, yeah, Tanya V says, "What's beta?" We'll get into that. But you don't. Beta is not like it's not a real man. It's not a real man. You don't attach your thing with somebody else's thing. Somebody else. So one person is getting blamed for something, and they're getting blamed for something by the person that's blaming somebody else for something, and you call the other person's thing. I don't do that. We don't do that. He tried to exactly. Prince 550 says you try to be slick by mentioning Jay-Z. Why are you mentioning my name? Don't attach your weirdness to what I'm doing. I'm clearly winning over here, beating the lawsuit, and you go and attach that to this or this to that. Accountability. Yes, Tanya V says accountability. So I know a lot of people were surprised that was going on at Shannon Sharpe, but it's because a lot of people look up to it, but they don't see these small little details. And I think the small little details need to be called out. Like if I was on this guy's team, I would have been like, whoa, 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 don't call another man's name. He don't have anything to do with this. Next thing you know, maybe you worded it the wrong way, and now other people are going to twist it to say, oh, he was involved too. You know what I'm saying? You cannot do that. It's she. Shout out to you because you're always here. I'm gonna repeat it just for you because you're a great supporter of the channel. In the video we just watched of Shannon Sharpe talking about his lawsuit with the 22-year-old snow bunny. What he did is he tried to attach his lawsuit to Jay-Z's lawsuit because Jay-Z was winning his lawsuit, and said this is the same lawyer that tried to shake down Jay-Z. Bro, don't mention my name. I'm already over here fighting my own case, trying to clear my own name with my own family, my own stuff on the line, and you're trying to attach yourself to me. If you see the opposite happen with that, with what Jay-Z did. Jay-Z did the opposite with Puff, and people got mad at him because Jay-Z's lawyer said they're not even close. They're people in the music industry. It was the opposite because Jay-Z didn't want to be attached to Puff's case. He didn't want to be attached to it. I don't know if these guys are friends. I don't hang out in those circles. But what I do know is you don't just start hitching your own stuff to another man's case. That is not Unc. That's not OG. That's beta. You don't do that. You're welcome. You're welcome, Ms. Sheet. So let's start from the beginning of the things we do know about this guy. This is how the rest of the video is going to go. Okay. We're going to start with the things we do know that we should have known better about. Then we're going to go into the things we didn't know. But by the time we did know a few things, we started digging into the past and found out a bunch of other things. Some of them may be true, may be false. And then we're going to go into exactly what we need to look out for before we call somebody Unc. Unc, and for those of you guys who just filing in, Unc is a term of endearment. That you call somebody uncle or auntie, or where I'm from, we say tanti. If you call somebody uncle or auntie, that's a term of respect. That's respect. That's why even sometimes in our community, we call somebody our auntie and they're not even related to us, because that's out of respect. And the same thing with uncle. And it's the same thing with OG. That means you were originally original gangster. You were one of the original people who kept it real. The original people who taught us how to do this stuff. Just because he's old and rich doesn't give him the right to be called Unc. And it certainly doesn't give him the right to be called OG. And I told C this the other day. He literally hit the genetic lottery by being a professional athlete. The facts are the facts. You have to hit the genetic lottery to be a professional athlete, unless you're like Stephen Curry, who is literally my same weight, my same height. Actually, matter of fact, we're born on the same exact day in the same exact year. So now you guys know how old I am. Born in the same year, same day, same weight, same height. He was incredibly talented and became one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Okay? But aside from people like that, Muggsy Bogues, Allen Iverson, smaller people, you got to hit the genetic lottery, especially in football. And then C told me, yeah, but athletes work hard. It's hard work. And I agree. But what I said on my, I had a training today at one of my brokerages, and I said to them, hard work is a dime a dozen. My mother works hard. Your mother works hard. My auntie works hard. My uncle works hard. Your auntie works hard. Your uncle works hard. You work hard. And you know who else works hard? 8-year-olds work hard. They go to school. They get up on time. They lug their bag. When they don't want to do it, They go to school for 6 hours a day. They do whatever work they do in school. They come home. They do their homework. Like 8-year-olds work hard. 15-year-olds work hard. When you try, okay, now after I got to go early to school, 7 a.m., go to basketball practice or whatever sport I'm playing, or maybe go to the band practice or whatever they do. And then they come after school to another thing. Then they got to go home. You know who else works hard? University students work hard. Working hard is a dime a dozen. So you paired what everybody else does, or half the planet at least does, which is work hard. Half the planet works hard, at least. And you paired that by hitting the genetic lottery, and you got rich. Congratulations. That doesn't make you unk. That doesn't make you OG. And we don't respect people who do things like this. Shannon Sharpe is like our cousin. He's not our uncle. Shannon Sharpe is like our cousin. He's not our uncle. And if you're older than Shannon Sharpe, he's your little cousin. Just because somebody is rich and famous or an athlete doesn't mean that they're a good leader. And OGs are leaders. OG will stop you from doing dumb things. And OG will be like, yo, no. Come back. Dude, you ain't going down that path. I'm telling you, you've done this, you've done that, no, whatever. An OG will pull you back from doing stupid things. Not encourage you to do stupid things like he did to Kai Cenat earlier today. Not earlier today. I said earlier today because we were watching the video. What you guys are about to see, because we're going to play that video too. You don't encourage that. An OG pulls you back and gets your mind on the right target. Says you got to be focused. This is what you got to look at. An OG doesn't need, very, very careful. You have to understand what I'm about to say is the facts of the facts of the facts of the facts. An OG does not need to be loved by the younger generation. An OG doesn't feel the need to be accepted by anybody who's younger than them. It's supposed to be the reverse. The younger generation is supposed to say, hey, I'm doing what I can to get seen and to get respected by the OG. This guy does stuff to get accepted by people who are younger than him, less established than him, less successful than him. That's crazy to me. Unk doesn't do what he can so that everybody else is going to like him. Unk says, this is what it is, and you got to catch up because I've been there already, and you got to be here. We're going to look through so many examples of this guy that we should have saw earlier. Let's go to the next one. If you could, okay, it's on the screen now. Okay, it's on. Perfect. So this right here. No, this is not that. This is not that. This is not that. Go in order. Go into order. We'll get there. Go into order. We'll get to the Kai Cenat one. Go into order. We got to go to on Undisputed. That's what we got to go to. We'll get to that one. We're going in order, chronological order, how this all happened. So we started from the end just to go to the beginning so you guys can see where it ended. And then we're going to go to the beginning. And I got a surprise ending for you guys as well. So,
think watches more tape, Tom Brady or all the coaches?
No, not this one. The original, the first one.
And hi again, everyone, with Mark Jackson,
Not
Mike
this
Green on
either. I don't even know what that one is. The original one with him with the drink.
Showy clothes and
Right
props.
here. Thank you.
You like that?
I'm over here celebrating my best life with old Shay Sharpe.
Yeah, I see.
Then why you bothering me?
Now, for those of you guys that don't,
pause
pause it, please. Just pause it. We can, and you can rewind it. For those of you guys who do not know, this show comes on. I think it starts at 9 a.m. So that's the joke here. And I don't think that this guy is really actually drinking this stuff at 9 a.m. I think this is all fake, and he's playing a role. Let's just be clear. I think he's playing a character. But an OG doesn't get pimped out by these networks and these white people and make us look like this. Because you're not going to see a white guy on a black network doing this. You're not going to see it. He's getting pimped out by the network. I believe he's playing a character. I do. But there are also young people who are watching this, and it's trying to make it look cool. He's trying to make it look cool. There are young people who are watching this. Now, if this is what you do, this is what you do. I don't have a problem. But we're just talking about who we follow as our leaders. That's all I'm putting out there. I'm not saying what you're doing is right. I'm not saying what you're doing is wrong. Remember that. I'm saying, who do we follow as our leaders? Just because he has a lot of money and he's on TV and he's an ex-athlete, this is who we follow? This is all that's just check, check, check. Those are 3 boxes, and they can do whatever they want, acting like a fool. Look at this. We should have seen these warning signs long ago. We should have seen them long ago, but we ignore them because he's making money. It's all everybody ever cares about. But he's on TV, he's making money, he's hustling, he's working hard, doing his thing. Okay, it's perfectly fine. But I'm not following these people. And I would submit to you, I don't believe it's good for you or your loved ones to follow people like this either. This guy is like the dancing clown for, and you know, FS1's audience is primarily white in America. So this is what they're seeing. And then they wonder why we're looked at the way we're looked at. Start it from the beginning. Big it up on the screen, please. Play it again.
Showy clothes and props.
I'm over here.
You like that?
I'm over here celebrating my best life with old Shay Sharpe.
Yeah, I see.
Then why you bothering me?
I'm not bothering you. You're bothering me.
You told me, you say, you got some old flashy stuff like LeBron had on yesterday. I said, yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm going to wear it tomorrow. Got me a little, little something right there. Get a shot there right there. Why that little good old stuff right there?
It's a little early, Skip, if you ask me.
So,
a little early for that.
Thing you have. What is that, your bathrobe?
What is this?
You're wearing your bathrobe on television. What have we come to on this show?
Get a little something, y'all start that thing out there.
Wait, you're drinking Hennessy to get ready for Undisputed. You're smoking something. I don't know what's in that. I don't know. It could have a lot of different things.
Hey, Jay, this whole wood tip right here. You trying to get that thing right.
Are those the ones Snoop left in your dressing room? I think he did.
Stop dry snitching. You lost everything.
Big me up on the screen, please. Hey, yo. Guys, take the next 30 seconds. Send this video to somebody you know. Send this to somebody you know. This is the stuff that needs to be spread. Not when so-and-so cheated on so-and-so and so-and-so had a child with so-and-so and all the other stupid drama stuff. This is the stuff that we need to be talking about. These are the conversations with Jay that we're talking about when you log into Conversations with Jay. This is what I'm talking about. This is like a clown on TV. Of course, it has to be Hennessy. That's a cheap cigar, by the way. I smoke cigars. That was crap. But I'm just saying, these are the conversations we got to be talking about. Put that one back on the screen. I didn't get to read it, please. They love court justice, aka clowns. Oh, yep, that's correct. That's correct, King Kalonji. That's correct. Even if that's what you do at 9 a.m., Do your thing. I don't mind. Why are you on TV acting like a fool, acting like a clown, and making us look like that? And then we look up to you and be like, oh, yeah, you're right. Now, remember, how did we start this live? We started this live, so we've already gone through one. Now, I'm going to ask you to go back to the apology. So we went from that foolishness, which I believe was about 7 or 8 years ago. Let's bring it full circle. We'll probably go back to the end twice, but we started with the end, with him trying to attach his wagon to Jay-Z, which you will never, ever see Jay-Z acting a fool like that, dancing for the network. You will never see him doing that. He tried to attach his wagon to this guy. Play that video, so not the apology video, the response to the lawsuit.
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey, Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Busby want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about. And I'm going to be out there telling you whatever I need to say, just like I always do. I love all you guys. Thanks.
Nuts. This guy said my career is about real talk and integrity and honesty. Let's play his real talk and honesty right here. Play it again, because some people are just filing in. That is the result of this type of stuff.
Showy clothes and props.
I'm over here.
You like that?
I'm over here celebrating my best life with
Oh,
old
yeah.
no
9 o'clock in the morning.
I see.
This is what it
Yeah,
is
why
on
you
national
bothering me?
television, live
I'm not
national
bothering
TV.
You're bothering me.
You told me, you say, you got some old flashy stuff like LeBron had on yesterday. I said, yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm going to wear it tomorrow. Got me a little, little something, little something right there. Get a shot there right there. Why that little good old stuff right there? Yeah.
A little early, Skip, if you ask me.
So
A little early for that.
Thing you have. What is that, your bathrobe?
What is this?
You're wearing your bathrobe on television. What have we come to on this show?
Get a little something, y'all start that thing out there.
Wait, you're drinking Hennessy to get ready for Undisputed. You're smoking something. I don't know what's in that. I don't know. It could have a lot of different things.
Hey, Jay, this old wood tip right here. You trying to get that thing right.
Are those the ones Snoop left in your dressing room? I think he did.
Yeah, stop dry snitching. You lost everything.
So again, guys, going on national television and playing the fool like this and playing the role like this, again, you guys could look up can you see just on the side, look up FS1's demographic. Look up FS1's demographic and then just say what percentage of white people in America watch FS1 every day. Now it's going to be an inflated number because most Americans, like there's this big percentage of white people in America. But that's the point. That's the point. You don't get up and go on national television. Again, if he wants to drink at 9 a.m., let him drink at 9 a.m. Who the hell cares? That's his choice. That's what he wants to do with his life. That's what he wants to do with his life. And you guys know I started this whole entire stream by saying, not everybody signed up to be a leader, and you don't have to sign up to be a leader. Who cares? But I'm not making this for Shannon Sharpe. I'm making this for the followers of Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe can do whatever he wants with his life. Shannon Sharpe can choose to do whatever he wants with his life. He's a grown-ass man. He's worked hard, and he's earned a life that he enjoys. Or maybe doesn't. Doesn't matter. But what I am saying is, if you want to follow that, that's not the best person to follow, because he is not a leader. And if you want to be a leader, you don't act like that. You tell them people at that network, because I don't think he's actually really drinking Hennessy and smoking a cigar. I just think it's a character that he's playing. But you tell those people, no, I ain't doing that. Like Dave Chappelle told them, I ain't doing that. And I'm out of here, and I'll turn down $100 million. Like Dave Chappelle said, I ain't doing that, because Dave Chappelle is a leader in our community. Shannon Sharpe is not.
So it says that the percentage of people that watch FS1 is for white people, it's 65 to 75%. For Black/African American, it's 10 to 15%. Hispanic is 10 to 15, and Asian is 3 to 5.
Which is representative of the whole makeup of America anyways. So that's why I said it's going to look like an inflated number. But what I'm saying is, like, you know that people are watching that. There are so many white people that watch that, and then they're going to think that about us. And if you reverse the roles, and you're on a black show on BET, there ain't going to be no white person drinking Belvedere vodka with a cigarette in their hand playing a role. They wouldn't do it. So why is it that you're doing that? And you also know that there's young people in your own community that are watching this show, like C said, 10 to 13% or something like that, that are high schoolers just watching the highlights. Like I used to watch the highlights get when I'm getting dressed in the morning, getting ready for school. There's young people watching the highlights and seeing you, and those are young, impressionable adults, and you're there playing the fool. You're not Unc to me. You're not an OG. Unc is a term of endearment. Uncle, auntie, for those of you guys who are just following an uncle, auntie, those are terms of endearment. I look up to you. I honor you. OG is a term of endearment. You are not that. You're an ex-athlete that continued to do what you had to do to get the opportunities that you have right now. And then you still couldn't escape your own behavior and ended up where you are now. And I know some of my friends will be like, yo, they targeted him where he was up for $100 million contract, and he's figured we're getting there, but I'll just, spoiler alert, he did it to himself. Just like Puff did it to himself. Ain't nobody out here feeling sorry for Puff. I was caping for justice with Puff. I attached my wagon to the wheels of justice. It just so happened they were driving in the same direction as Puff's car. And I'll be honest, the more I watched the trial and the more I saw that stuff, I actually felt bad for him, because I'm like, yo, this guy really was targeted. Like, this really was a bunch of nonsense. But I just wanted justice because me and my loved ones have to grow up in the same society. Let's get to the next piece of content we have that we should have known. And for those of you guys just filing in, we're trying to notice what these warning signs should be. We're ignoring them all the time. We keep ignoring the warning signs. There are warning signs everywhere. Let's get to the next warning sign where we should have known. Where we should have known.
Yesterday.
What do you mean yesterday?
Okay,
I was there.
but you're giving him 100%
I
of the
did.
blame.
Because
That's just, you have no objectivity. It's just straight Brady hate. Wait a minute. This is just straight hate by a guy who's jealous that he is still playing at a high level at 45 when you had to stop at 35.
That's what you do.
That's the point.
That's what you do. Every time I call something into question, I'm jealous.
No.
Skip, I did what I did.
I never said you were jealous of Baker Mayfield.
Skip, I did what I did. You make it seem like I was a bum. I'm in the effing Hall of Fame.
Okay,
I got 3 Super Bowls.
So what?
So what?
He's way better than you were.
I'm better than
Way
you.
better.
Skip, what I got to see what you do. You take personal shots.
No,
for
I don't take personal shots. You started it.
Time out. You would take a personal shot at me.
I didn't take a personal shot at you.
Wait a minute.
What are you talking about?
You would take a personal.
Put your glasses back on.
Can I finish? You're willing to take a personal shot at me to say this man is better than me because I say he's playing bad this year?
Well, because you just
Go ahead.
you disrespect him. It's just so.
Stop it. You played way too much of it because a lot of people don't care about all the rest. Skip Bayless almost said, "Put your effing glasses back on." Just play it from that part, please. That's all we needed. He didn't put him on right away, but he put him back on.
Wait a minute.
What are you talking about?
You would take a personal.
Put your glasses back on.
You hear that?
Can I
right
finish?
there. That's all we needed. That piece right there. You gonna get us flagged. We ain't gonna be able to put this video up because we played too much of it. But that's all we need right there. Play it one more time.
You would take a personal.
Put your glasses back on.
Can I finish? You're willing to take a personal
And then
shot
he put
at
his
me
glasses
to
back
say
on.
this man is better than me because I say he's playing bad this year?
Well, because you just
Can you
Go
pause
ahead.
that, please? You could big me up on the screen. You big me up on the screen. Think this is crazy. You're on live national television. This guy, whether he's white, black, purple, Chinese, doesn't matter. You take your glasses off and somebody tells you to put your glasses back on. You did say, "Can I finish?" And then you put your glasses back on within, what, 5-10 seconds. I remember my auntie, another term of endearment. I closed a door. It was my house anyways, but I know this is Skip Bayless, more Skip Bayless's house, so a little bit different. But I remember I closed the door and she said, "Don't close the door." I said, "Excuse me?" That's an auntie of mine. Now, it's because she was in my house. The reason why I'm explaining this is because Skip Bayless was basically calling Shannon Sharpe's career crap. That's why he's like, "I'm in the Hall of Fame." Like, you're talking about my sport that I did well in, that I'm in the Football Hall of Fame, and I'm defending myself. And why would somebody say, "Put your glasses back up"? And put your glasses back on. Put your effing glasses. But why would somebody say that to you? They're trying to belittle you. They're trying to, remember, this is Skip Bayless's show, right? They're trying to belittle you. They're trying to put you down. Like, don't take your glasses. You guys already know what I'm talking about. How many times people say, "Don't walk up to me. Don't put you ever." I grew up in that age where we used to wear hats in the front, and then when you really want to start getting busy, you put the hat to the back, and then people say, "Don't put your hat to the back to me." That's what that was. Shannon Sharpe is old enough to know what that was. I'm old enough to know that was, and he's old enough to be my father. That, to me, again, another sign that we should have seen that this is not an OG. This is not Unk. Unk says, "We mean put my glasses back. I ain't putting it. I won't be able to read the next stuff in front of me for the rest of the time I'm on here. We mean put my glasses back on. You talking about? I want to take my glasses off. They're my glasses in my face and my eyes. I could take my glasses off if I want." We don't look up to these people. Some chats. Some people say, you know, if you disagree, if there's anybody that disagrees with me, please find some comments that disagree with me. I'm not going to be able to change their mind, but I'm going to be able to make a good argument for the rest of the people who agree with me when somebody disagrees with them. If you're following me, because a lot of people here agree with me, but not a lot of people are always able to just come up with the answer like that. This person says, "I think you're being hard on Shannon." Here's the thing. Maybe Paul, you came in late, but earlier I was saying this is not for Shannon. I'm not here to tear down Shannon. I don't care about Shannon. Shannon don't care about me. We'll never cross paths in life. What I'm saying is we have to see the signs of a lack of leadership, and those aren't unk, because unk is a term of endearment. OG is a term of respect and endearment. You are the guy. So you could call him drunk unk, as we said in the beginning of the live. You call him drunk unk. I don't know what you want to call him. I don't care. But I'm not bringing him down, although it does seem like that, obviously. But I'm not bringing him down. I keep trying to bring it back to, I'm just highlighting things we should have seen, because this in our own communities and neighborhoods and families and friend circles, we just overlook it. And that's why we overlooked it and overlooked it and overlooked it, because he's rich, famous athlete who has money. That's all I'm saying. Universal Ask says, I'm skipping this live, Jay. We should be kicking Busby's back in, not Shannon's. Again, I'm not kicking Shannon's, and I respect that, but I'm not kicking Shannon's back in. I'm highlighting just different things that we need to look out for. And I'm not here to, and I know we started with the Puff trial, so a lot of people were here for that, but I'm here to help build leaders. Go watch it. Just look at the description of the channel. I'm here to help build leaders. That's what I'm here to do. I'm not here to tear down anybody. I was a little hard on Cassie, I ain't gonna lie. But I'm not here to tear down anybody. What I'm here to do is say, when you see people doing stuff like this, being a clown on TV, when you know what you're reflecting, you know who's watching, you know what doing. You're a character, you're playing a character, I get it. But you're doing it for the check. And then you're going and person says, put your glasses back on. And within 10 seconds, you put your glasses back on. Those type of things are warning signs that you might, and we're only in warning sign number 2. I hope Universal Ask, and the other gentleman, I don't remember his name. I hope you guys stick around, because we're only on warning number 2. Okay, reverse one more, as I think I missed somebody. No, I think it was the other one. I think it was the other one. Paul, Mark, I really don't see the point here. I love Jay. So you know what? See, pin the link in the chat for anybody who wants to talk to me. And we're gonna continue with this content. But pin the link in the chat if you want to jump on and speak to me. Like, actually have verbiage. Pin the link in the chat. All right? Pin the link in the chat. In the meantime, we go into the next one. It's there in the chat. But make sure you pin that.
Steven Adams comes over.
No.
To protect
This
his
Steven
guy.
Adams comes over. I don't know what
along
this
with
is.
supporting cast, and then
Oh, okay, I got you.
Shannon
Rewind
Sharpe
it.
still
Another. Yeah, this is your unk. This is your 57-year-old unk acting a damn fool, trying to fight NBA players. This is your fifth. You know, you guys know this is why he got fired from FS1, right? You guys know this is why he got fired from FS1, right? And then he got fired from ESPN. But I sound a fool, Wesley. Who said it? Wesley. Wesley said I sound like a fool, right? Wesley? Wesley Gray? I don't know what Wesley's referring to, but Wesley, the link is there. Jump in. The link is there. Jump in. Have a conversation with Jay.
I think Paul is gonna join now, Jay.
All right, play this real quick before Paul joins, and then we'll bring Paul on real quick. Play this video real quick.
And you see Steven Adams comes over to protect his guy along with the supporting cast. And then Shannon Sharpe still talking. And T. Morant, Ja Morant's dad, comes over. Had an opportunity to talk to T. Morant. And he said, my blood pressure didn't go up a bit. Nothing but love and respect for Shannon Sharpe. It's a bunch of guys talking a bunch of trash.
And just silly. I mean, for it to get like that here at an NBA game.
Yeah, and you know who the oldest one there is? Unk. Your Unk. Your OG. Your Unk. He's the oldest one, supposed to know better. And he was the one that was starting everything. He was the instigator of everything. And he's supposed to be the one that is the wise one that says, yo, chill. But he's going at everybody. That's the Unk. That's the 57-year-old OG. Bring on Mark real quick. Mark Gray.
Hi, Jay. I'm
sorry,
Paul, but I'm a girl. But I'm a girl. It's Sine. First of all, I love you so much. I've been wanting you to drop a link forever. I first saw you like a week into the Diddy trial. I thought to myself, please let this guy, start a channel. I truly think you are amazing. We do not agree, on this particular point. So I do want to have the conversation as respectfully as possible. I truly love you though, okay? Okay. I love Shannon too. I just think that's his personality. I also think, I give people who are in the public a little bit more grace because everything they do is in the public, So I just think Shannon is another black man who has made it his way. He's very Southern. I love his laid back style. I watch as many of his on the Club Shay Shay. I love watch as many as I possibly can. Some I watch over and over because I like the dynamic between him and other black men. It reminds me of growing up in my family, the way guys used to talk to each other. So I really like the way he handles himself publicly.
I appreciate that, and that's a good perspective for because you mentioned Southerner, and everything is geographical too, because we have different cultures in the ways that in the areas we're from, right? So I do recognize that, and one thing I would say that I disagree with what you said, and thank you for your love too, by the way. One thing I would say is I disagree with the fact that we always have to handle ourselves like that. I feel like there's areas and stages of your life that we can handle ourselves in certain ways. And I agree with you with the public eye thing. But Shannon Sharpe is 57 years old. He, at this point, should be, in my opinion, understanding that I can't still act like I'm 27 years old. And I believe that's how he acts. Like he's still 27 years old and not 57 years old.
Can I push back a little bit?
Of course.
I definitely understand where you're coming from. But I think as black people, sometimes we stereotype ourselves, and I think I'm kind of sensitive to that for a variety of reasons. Like, obviously I'm black. But growing up in my household, my mom used to always tell me that I act white. Like everybody would tell me that. And for the obvious reasons, right? And I would always say to her, even though I was so young, like, that's impossible, Mom, because I'm black. So there was that. And then once I got out of my neighborhood, there are certain people who may say, oh, you act a little ghetto, because I'm not following whatever their dictate is for. Maybe I want to sit on the side of the curb and eat my fried rice, right? So now I'm a little ghetto, right? Or I'm a little too old for that, or a little too young for that. But I think in the end, if Shannon's not doing anything to attack the black community, I don't think we should be attacking him.
All right. Last response from me is I don't think he's doing anything to attack the black community. And I'm also not attacking him. All I'm saying is to specifically the black community in his regard, we got to just choose who we follow. Because if you're going to be getting into altercations on basketball games, at basketball games, and drinking at 9 a.m., which, again, if he wants to do any of these things, that's his choice. And we get into a whole bunch of stuff, and somebody some old white man tells you put your glasses back on, and within 10 seconds you put your black glasses back on, and then you want to be with a bunch of snow bunnies, including the 22-year-old one that he was with that ended up setting him up, because I do believe he was set up, that ended up setting him up. This Shannon Sharpe, like I said, he has hit the genetic lottery, and he also is a hard worker. And with those two combined, you end up going way up to the top. And if you're not careful, they can bring you way down. And we've seen it with our community many times with many successful black men. Mike Tyson, Tupac Shakur, Shannon Sharpe lately. Even if you want to be with the new ones, right? What's the guy's name? Zion Williamson. Like, we see it happen so many times. Even John Morant, whose father, Shannon Sharpe, was trying to go after in that whole thing. If we want to build something, we can't keep breaking it down. And if you and clearly Shannon Sharpe has broken down what he built for himself after football. He's broken it down. He had $100 million deal lined up, and now it got broken down. And everybody wants to blame Tony Busby and the Snow Buddy. But the fact is, you got to be smart. You have to be disciplined, and you cannot just do what you want. And that's the message I'm trying to send the younger people in our community. And that's the reason why I say this is not Unc, and this is not my Unc, and this is not an OG. And that's the last thing I'm going to say, but continue. You go ahead.
Well, I absolutely respect all of that. I think you and I are going to have to agree to disagree on this point. I had put in your comments a couple weeks ago that I was wondering if you do something like this as it pertained to the defense team. And now that Moureen Comey has been fired, I wonder what your thoughts are about that. But I don't know if you want to take the time to do that right now. But yeah,
we talked about it in the beginning of the live. I don't know if you were here at the beginning, but just my own thing was, I think Trump, real quick, for those of you guys who are just filing in, I do believe that Trump wanted to fire Moureen Comey from the beginning because he already had fired the father. Remember, this case, Moureen Comey, it was handed down from her from Damian Williams, and what happened is she had to go with it, and she got started with it, and then they didn't think that Trump was going to get elected, and he did. And then Damian Williams stepped down because he actually only took the case, in my opinion, this is only my opinion, but in my opinion, he only took the case because he had political gains for taking the case. And then he realized my political gains are going to have to wait another 4 years. So he stepped down. Moureen Comey inherited the case, and her father was still the head of the FBI. For not the first thing, but one of the first things Trump did when he became in power was he fired the father. But you can't fire, as far as my research goes, you can't fire the lead attorney that's part of a federal case. So he waited for her to finish that case, and then he fired her. And my thinking is he would have fired her either way, but I think the optics would have looked bad if she had won. And now we have some questions since she lost. So that's my guess. But I haven't talked about this, and we haven't made a video about this because I just am not educated enough, and I don't want to spew like a bunch of opinions and a whole bunch of stuff that I don't know if it's true, right? But that's my opinion based on my knowledge so far.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. You know, he announced, I think Trump either earlier this week or late last week, that he was investigating James Comey. He is under federal investigation. So is John Brennan. Trump has been going through the DOJ firing all sorts of people.
Right.
Trump is not the type of guy to let stuff go. Okay.
No,
So
not
he
at all.
believes that lawfare was launched against him. And so here we go. Now, somebody had read, I was watching the news, they read some letter that apparently Moureen Comey had received that talked about why she was fired, because she's saying she doesn't know. But this letter referenced Article 2 of the
Right.
Constitution. I don't know
We
which
talked about that
section.
too.
Right.
Yeah.
And so if that's the case, that sounds like maybe she's going to be investigated also.
Yeah, because Article 2 references bribery, basically a bunch of conduct that's not appropriate. And I mentioned, maybe before you got on stream, I mentioned that there was this, I don't know if you guys know about it, but there was this thing that happened in trial in which us, the press, and the jury was made to leave the courtroom. And in the courtroom, they had an argument about a specific thing. The next day, what happened was that was published in an article. Now, they didn't say what media outlet published it. They didn't say what the subject matter was, and they didn't say where the article. We weren't even able to find it. The next day, we came into the court, and they said, the judge said, there was only you two parties in here at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of you guys had to have leaked this. And both parties said, I don't know who did it. I don't know. And the judge said somebody's lying. But that also
Mm-hmm.
falls under Article 2, because maybe it could have been either her or her direction of something or whatever. So we're doing a lot of speculating at this point, which is exactly why I didn't make a video about it. But this is healthy talk to like spitball ideas and understand what might be going on.
Yeah, I think either way, Trump was going to get her out of there, but I think she gave him a boatload of excuses. Also, she's the one who prosecuted the Epstein case, and the only person who she actually prosecuted was Ghislaine, and
Yeah.
now Trump wants to suppress that. So I think that's another possible angle, just not wanting her to have access to more things. But
Right.
I think it's Diddy, but I think it's definitely bigger than him.
Most definitely. I agree. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Listen, I appreciate you, Paul Gray.
Well, thank you so much. You can call me Paige, but thank you
Paige.
so much.
Appreciate it, Paige.
Every time I go checking for you all the time, I check for you when you don't even have a video, because I try to catch up on all your videos. I love everything you do. I love the way you do it. I love this, so educated. I love the information. I love the conversation. So thank you so much. Keep doing it.
Hey, thank you, Paige. Keep doing you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
You got it. All right, Pete, we're going to get a few other people up in here. Is there anybody else waiting? Please.
I'm
Anybody else
not
waiting?
seeing. So there was somebody who was waiting in the background, but they didn't connect their mic, so I wasn't able to add them.
Okay, please. Let's get some more people up in here if they want to be. Let's get into the next piece of content. We'll play it a couple times. What's the next piece of content?
So it would have been the apology tape, but now we're getting into the one with Kai Cenat.
Okay, but no. There's one where he's talking about the Instagram thing where he threw his phone. That's the apology one.
Oh, that one you're saying.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, he was explaining. He threw his phone on the bed, and it magically went onto Instagram Live.
Is that the one with Kai Cenat actually?
No, it's not. That's the one with Ocho. He was explaining it.
Oh, I don't have that one pulled up.
Yeah, you can pull it up.
Let's see.
Yeah, if you share your screen, you can see it. We can look at that. He did give an explanation of exactly how that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And what exactly or how exactly that happened. All you have to do if you want to share your screen, just go to you're gonna have to zoom in on YouTube because we don't want to get flagged. But yeah. In the meantime, let me read some of these comments. Shout out to Christina. I appreciate that. Shout out to Mookie B. Shout out to Tanya V. Of course, shout out to Paige. Shout out to Special K. Who else we got in here? Mark Jag. Shout out to Mark Jag. Shout out to the GOAT. Bryce Doe. Shout out to you. And again, Bryce Doe, it's no hate over here. I'm only, and I know, one of the things I struggle with, just so you guys know, while C's looking up that IG apology video, one of the things that I struggle with is creating a truthful thumbnail and title, but also getting people to click on it. As you guys know, I'm new to YouTube. It's only been 30 days. Well, maybe 40 days now, 35, 40 days. I'm new to YouTube. So sometimes, no, you could leave it up there. We'll play in a second. For me, I don't know how to, I haven't quite figured it out. I haven't quite figured out how to create a thumbnail that people are going to click on, but also keep real with what I'm going to be talking about. And so I tried it with this one as much as I could, but the last thing I want is for you guys to file in and then feel like I'm kicking Shannon's back in, because that's not what I was trying to convey in that thumbnail. I was trying to say there are certain people that we should look at as our leaders and certain people we shouldn't. Whatever, I think somebody said everybody talks ish at a basketball game. Of course. Yes, 100%. Of course, everybody talks ish at a basketball game. And maybe even if it gets heated with a bunch of people, that's fine. All I'm saying is those may not be the people you want to follow. It doesn't mean they're doing anything wrong. It doesn't mean they're doing anything like, out of normal or anything like that. But they just might not be the people that we want to pattern our behavior and lifestyle off of. And if you want any proof, all you got to do is go and see how this man got everything and lost everything. Diddy was the same type of thing. I for those of you guys earlier who weren't on here, I said Diddy is inspiring, he's motivating, but I wouldn't follow him. He's not a leader. He's done amazing things. That doesn't discredit the amazing things you've done and the accomplishments that you've given to the world. All I am saying is there are leaders and there are followers. And if I'm going, because everybody is a leader and everybody's a follower, right? It's like leader, follower, leader, follower, leader, follower. I'm a leader, but then there's a lot of people I follow, right? So it's leader, follower, leader, follower. All I'm explaining to people is we want to be selective on the people who we follow as leaders, and we want to show the leadership qualities that are actually going to make a difference in our community, a positive one. That's all I'm saying. God bless Shannon Sharpe.
Number of reasons people count on Shannon.
You can throw this on screen.
Shay, there are a lot of people that count on Shannon to be professional at all times, and I always try to be professional at all times. Even when I'm behind closed doors, I still try to remain a level of, even when I'm behind closed doors, I still try to remain a level of professional, although I'm in the privacy of my own home. And I'm very disappointed in myself, not for the act. I think there are millions and billions of people of consenting age that engage in activities, but to have your most intimate detail on the audio to be heard. I'm disappointed in myself. I let her call them. I called my sister. My friends, obviously, my friends reached out. But guys, this was not staged. Came in, I threw my phone. Staged. Came in, I threw my phone. Embarrassed for a number of reasons. People count on Shannon. There are a lot of people that count on Shannon to be professional at all times. And I always try to be professional at all times. Even when I'm behind closed doors, I still try to remain a level of, even when I'm behind closed doors, I still try to remain a level of professional, although I'm in the privacy of my own home. And I'm very disappointed in myself, not for the act. I think there are millions and billions of people of consenting age that engage in activities. But to have your most intimate detail on the audio to be heard, I'm disappointed in myself. I let her call them. I called my sister. My friends, obviously, my friends reached out. But guys, this was not staged. Came in, I threw my phone. Staged.
We back?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. All right. So, look, you guys know me. I call. Clearly, this is nonsense. This guy said I came in, I threw my phone down on the bed, and all of a sudden, Instagram Live pulled up. Guys, this is how you get on Instagram Live. I went on Instagram, 1 step. I push a plus button, 2 step. I push live, 3 step. I got to add a title, 4 step. I push live again, 5 step. And then I have to confirm that I want to go on live. It's 6 steps. You try it yourself on your own Instagram Live if you have the app. 6 steps. This man said, I took my phone out, I threw it on the bed, all of a sudden it was on Instagram Live, and I was banging this chick. I'm not saying he's lying. Maybe he took it, phone out, threw it on the bed, went to the bathroom, and she put it on Instagram Live. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. But you guys are going to see throughout the rest of this live, you guys have already seen the behavior that we've already. This is not his only apology. This is like multiple apologies that he's having to continue to do. So for people that are looking towards these people, I guess the leadership quality would be like, I'm taking responsibility for my actions and I sorry. But if you're sorry, I'm just saying the best apology is changed behavior. You can't. You got fired from FS1, then you got fired from ESPN, and the first time, as we're going to get into, you should have got fired from FS1. You didn't. They gave you a second chance. Then you got fired. Then you went to ESPN, and then this stuff with the 22-year-old snowbody. So all I'm saying, guys, is select your leaders very carefully. We're going to keep going, and this is not just him. We got to look at these same things with other people. Put Fila speaks. Fila speaks. When you have black leaders, y'all don't follow them. I mean, a lot of black people follow black leaders. That's why black people are free now. So I disagree with that. That's why black people are free now. If they didn't follow black leaders, they wouldn't be free now. And I don't know which country you're talking about, because there are black people all over the world in all countries. So I'm assuming you're speaking about American blacks, but yeah. And I also disagree with that, because just look at, anyways, pocket watching. I don't care. Pocket watching on a 60-year-old, you're supposed to have more money than me. You're more than twice my age, or damn near twice my age. But this is getting crazy. Being a black leader is dangerous. Could be. Not sure. Could be. It could be dangerous for me because I'm a black leader, so could be dangerous for me. But I'm safe in my hood. Tell you that. Although I don't live in the hood anymore, but I'm safe where I'm at. We don't need no black leaders. The code is the only leader. Don't know that last part. You're speaking over my head. That last part, you're speaking over my head. All right. Do we have anybody else? You want to drop that link again? Maybe Fila can explain a thing or two for me.
Yeah, and remember he also had to this man is always apologizing, I swear. He always he also had to apologize to Megan Thee Stallion. Now I didn't download the video, so and I don't want to play it from YouTube, but he had to apologize to her because he said on his podcast that he said a whole bunch of stuff that what he would do.
And just, I don't know if Fila is talking to me or the chat, but I didn't say black leaders. I just said leaders. So I don't know. Maybe he's speaking to the chat. Yeah. So now he has to apologize to Megan Stallion. Now, can you play what he said about Megan Stallion?
Yeah, I could pull it up. I still have it up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me know if you can hear it.
Thank you.
All right.
So this is what he said about Megan Stallion.
Apologize to you personally. And I didn't, I always wanted to sit down and have a conversation with you. I didn't know
that. No. What he originally said about her. Not the apology.
No, I don't. We don't have the video for that, but I have the writing I can read.
Okay, so just read it. Just put it on the screen and read it. This is what he originally said about Megan Stallion, this 57-year-old man.
Yeah, I'm not gonna put it on the screen, but I will read it.
Go ahead.
Just a second. Just a second. Oh, here we go. He said in November 2023, Shannon Sharpe made explicit and objectifying remarks about Megan Thee Stallion on his Nightcap podcast, saying things like, "I'd have her stretched out like a quarter to three, deep, hard, and continuously, open up like saloon doors."
Read that one more time, please.
Said in November 2023, Shannon Sharpe made explicit and objectifying remarks about Megan Thee Stallion on his Nightcap podcast, saying things like, "I'd have her stretched out like a quarter to three, deep, hard, and continuously, opening up like saloon doors."
Now, I want to be clear. This is not in a skit. This is not in a song, because art is different. It's expression. It's not a skit. It's not a song. It's not anything like that. It's in a podcast. A podcast is and it's in his Nightcap podcast where he's talking with his buddy on national television. This is not like Biggie Dreams, not the song like Biggie Dreams, where you're making music and it's an art form. This is not a comedy show where this is an art form. This is not anything like that. This is just you talking. If anybody thinks that is cool for damn near 60-year-old man to talk about a 25-year-old woman or a 26-year-old woman, however old she is, and think it's cool, that's crazy.
She was 27 at the time.
She was 27. Like, This woman is damn near 30 years younger than you. And this is how you're talking on your podcast. Not no raps, not no, even, I don't know any 50-year-old rapper that was talk about Megan Thee Stallion like that. Or any 27-year-old woman like that. You could think it. You could talk it in the barbershop with your boys. You could talk it in the cigar lounge with us. But to say that in your podcast on that goes out to millions of people is distasteful. To me, I'm only talking about me. That's not leadership. You look stupid to me. You look like a clown to me. That's not leadership. You look dumb. You look like you're trying to be 27 still. You look like you're trying to appeal to the 20-year-old audience or the early 30-year-old audience. You look dumb. That's why the title of this or the thumbnail of this is He Ain't My Unk. He ain't my unk. My unk will say something like, go get that young fella. She's a good-looking woman. Not, I'd have her stretched out and this and that. Read that one more time.
Sure.
Not like, go get that little fella. She's a good-looking woman. Not, she nice. Nothing like that. Listen to what he said. This is his words. This is not practice. You wrote a rhyme or something. You wrote a comedy skit. This is him just talking off the top of his head. Listen to this.
Says, so this happened on November 2023. He was said on his Nightcap podcast, said, I'd have her stretch out like a 2:45, deep, hard, and continuously opened up like saloon doors.
Taco K says, nothing wrong with that. I would too. I'm not blaming anybody for wanting to be intimate with Megan Thee Stallion. Taco
I think
K.
a lot of people would.
Exactly. We're not saying it's wrong to want to do that. We're saying you don't say that on your podcast at damn near 60 years old. You look stupid. See, the problem is today, guys, big me up on the screen, please. The problem is today, guys, that everybody wants to be the same age. Young ninjas want the clout that the old ninjas have, and the old ninjas want the clout that the young ninjas have. Everybody wants to be wise without experience, and then everybody wants to have experience but be fun and cool and all that. Listen, when I realized this society was getting to that part is when I realized, wow, 60-year-olds are dressing like 16-year-olds. If you're dressing like your son, to me, there's a problem. To me, if you're dressing like your son, to me, there's a problem. To me, I believe that you should take pride in being wise, being a real OG, being a real unk. You don't have to be 22 forever. I don't know how old Taco K is, and I don't blame you for wanting to whatever with Megan Thee Stallion. A lot of us. God bless Clay. However, we need to find our lane in society. We can't all ride the same lane. We have to accept that we are here, and these guys are here, and these guys actually need us. Shannon Sharpe can't keep acting like a 20-something-year-old, and you guys keep following it. He can keep acting like a 20-something-year-old for the rest of his life, and it's fine. But I'm telling you guys that I don't believe that's a good person to follow. You might as well follow your friend who's just doing the same stuff and saying the same stuff and talking the same. It's not cool. It's not cool just because you're old and you're doing still same things that young. It's whack. I need you guys to get this through your head. And if you're 50 plus, 40 plus on this, it's whack. It's not cool. You're supposed to be making moves. You see Jay-Z in the club still? You see him big pimping? No. It's whack. You're not 20 anymore. You're not even 30 anymore. You're in Shannon Sharpe's case, you're not even 40 anymore. And in a few years, God bless, hopefully you live that long, you're not even going to be 50 anymore. You're going to be 60. You don't act like a kid. Somebody said earlier, oh, it's a basketball game. A lot of people get heated. Yeah, and there's supposed to be the wise person that says, all right, y'all, chill out. We ain't doing that. Relax. We ain't doing that. You see Michael Jordan in the club here at the courtside game arguing with people. There's levels to this. And that's what you guys aren't understanding. You guys are thinking he's cool because he's old and he's still doing dumb things and saying dumb things that he consistently, constantly has to apologize for. You know what I'm saying? Play the apology now. You guys heard what he said to Megan Thee Stallion. Now he has to apologize for it. It's not cool to keep having to apologize, guys. And then we'll get to some comments here. Go ahead.
Meg, before we go any further, I want to apologize to you personally. And I didn't, I always wanted to sit down and have a conversation with you. I didn't know if that was going to be possible, but I was always hoping that I got an opportunity to bump into you, because I made a comment, I think it was like September, October, and I told a joke, and I said it in jest, but I believe the joke would have been just as funny had I left you out of it. So for any unwanted attention, harm, shame, embarrassment that I caused you or your family, I want to say, as a man, as I sit here before you, I apologize.
I appreciate that.
So now you got to apologize. So if it was so great that what he said, you know what I'm saying? You got to grow up, bro. You're supposed to be our OGs. You're supposed to be our unk. And if you don't want to be, you don't have to be. I'm not saying he's doing anything wrong. Please, people, understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying that he's doing anything wrong, because he doesn't have to be a leader. Let me make this clear to y'all. He doesn't have to be a leader if he doesn't want to be. That's not what we're holding him accountable for. I'm not holding him accountable. I'm holding y'all accountable. Everybody who's watching this video, I'm holding you accountable, especially if you're younger. If you're looking up to people like this, you need to second guess your choices in life. If this is your unk and this is your OG and you think it's cool, you need to second guess your choices in life. This is not, there's no problem with Shannon Sharpe. I don't got a problem with him. Let him live his life. If he wants to go through whatever he does, let him do his thing. I hope he beats this case, because I don't agree with it. I think he got duped, to be honest. But I think he was stupid enough to do it, and you're supposed to know better at 57. And clearly he didn't. He's now being sued for $50 million because he was an idiot. He was supposed to know better at 57 years old. He was supposed to know better. That's what I'm saying. So all y'all that like to look up to all these people, I'm showing you the signs. When people have to constantly apologize, when people have to, when you see people acting reckless in the sun, when you see people on national television acting like a damn clown, these are signs that this is probably not the person that you want to follow. And we all follow somebody. Not like every leader follows another leader. But what I'm saying is, you got to choose it wisely. This is not an indictment on him. This is an indictment on the people who say, I want to be like him. Go ahead.
Yeah, shout out to Black Sigma. Thank you so much for the super chat, my man.
Shout out
Black
to you,
Sigma
bro.
says Diddy is a follower of Clive Davis.
Yes, I agree.
He was
I
also
100% agree with that.
in the super, that when he's trying to do the super chat, it's not
It
allowing.
won't let him put it. Yeah, exactly. But I 100% agree. That was one of his mentors. And look what happened, right? You got to be very, very smart on as to who you say, I'm gonna follow my path in this direction, or I'm gonna hitch my wagon in this area of my life here or there. It's very, very important. And all I'm trying to tell you guys is look at the signs, because we propped up this guy and we ignored all the signs. And if he want to do what he want to do, let him do what he want to do. I don't have a problem with that. It's his life and his family's life. What I have a problem with is people coming up to me and being like, well, Unc said, Unc this, that, Uncle OG. No, not to me. Have you guys not been looking at this stuff? I've been calling it for years, and now he got set up by a 22-year-old, what was it, OnlyFans person. How are you getting set up by a OnlyFans model that you met in the gym that's younger than your daughter? I'm sorry. Some of my friends be telling me, oh, Jay, but they try to take him down. They shouldn't have been able to. With that weak ass plan, do you see what they had to do to take down Diddy? They had to come with the RICO and go back 15, 20 years to go and they had to go and flip Jane, get her to snitch, and then say you're a victim or you're going to go to jail, get her to snitch so they could go back years later to go to Cassie and then go to Capricorn Clark, and then they had to do all this stuff just to seize baby oil. You know why? Because, and I'm not saying Diddy was a leader. Again, I already talked about this. He's not a leader. He's inspiring and he's motivational, but I would say the same thing with Diddy and as I did with Sharpe. But Puff and Sharpe are the same age, basically. I think they're 1 or 2 years apart. They had to do all that to get Puff. Sharpe, all they had to do is send a 22-year-old snow bunny to the gym. Mark Jack says Jay has me rolling. Oh gosh.
Jay, are you not seeing the comments coming up on the screen?
I can see it now. Yeah. Before I misjudge, what's the issue? Because I just came in. Ray, there is no issue. There's no issue. All I'm just trying to encourage people to do is choose your unks right and choose your OGs right. Just because somebody's old or rich or old and rich or old and famous or just old and came out the joint, we got some people around that have just been old and just came out the joint. It doesn't make them an OG. It doesn't make them unk. Those are terms of endearment. That means that person is leading people the right way. That's all I'm saying. So choose the people who lead you the right way and not the people who don't. And all we're doing is playing clip after clip after clip of all the foolishness and the signs that we should have saw of one Shannon Sharpe, that we should have been like, yo, it's all right, big fella, do your thing, but that's not me. I'm not following down that. I'm not hitching my wagon to that. The fact that he could be finessed by a 22-year-old speaks to his maturity. Yes. Oh, we're gonna get into the I don't know if you guys heard the recordings. This is crazy. It was like he was in a relationship with her. This guy was like, yeah, he was in a relationship with her, which is nuts. It wasn't even like what Puff was doing with Jane Doe's, like you're a freak off thing. Like this was a relationship with her. Absolutely. Let's get into the next clip real quick, guys.
Yeah, so it's the one with Kai Cenat.
1 second. Kevin Hart says, oh, so the problem is other people taking advice from ill that you don't agree with. I don't know if you meant to say ill, but I might be reading that wrong. And now it's your get back. Yours is your king moment. Come on, man. That's tough. No, not something I don't agree with. What makes Shannon Sharpe unk? Okay, this is better. Is he is a Hall of Fame football player. He's a Hall of Famer. He's not a Hall of Fame football player because he's not playing football anymore. Who is funny as all right. So I mean, look, I'm not gonna continue reading this. If that's unk to you, that's unk to you. That's it. I'm not gonna argue with who you should go back and look at as your leader. I'm not gonna argue. Just look at his life and tell me if you want to end up being fired from the two best opportunities you had and then being sued for $50 million that you don't have. If that's the path you want to go, go. If that's what you want to hitch your wagon to, do you, Kevin Hart. It's very simple. It's very simple. If that's what you want to do, I'm not going back and forth with y'all. I'm just encouraging people to just take a second look. If you take a second look and you say, yo, Jay, I took a second look, and yes, I want that to be my unk. He's funny, and he's a Hall of Fame football player, and I want that to be a leader of mine. Go ahead. If that's your qualifications of the leader in your life, I'm not arguing. I'm just saying take a second look. And I didn't say he's not a real unk. I said you're not unk to me, because that's not how I look at my leaders. So I'm not going to go back and forth with you and tell you who you got to look at. This might be you right here. So after he throws his phone on his bed and says the Instagram live just turned on all of a sudden, lied to all of us, when I think Kevin Hart just might have came in here. We went through the steps of Instagram live just to refresh your memory. He just lied to the entire American public. One, you got to open Instagram. That's step one. Then step two, you got to push a plus sign. Step three, you got to push live. Step four, you got to add a title. Step five, you got to push start. And then step six, you have to confirm that you want to go on live. So 6 steps. He said he threw it on the bed, and the phone just went. And then 6 steps later, all of a sudden, everybody can be hearing him. Okay, so he clearly did it on purpose. He lied to everybody, said it was an accident, and then after he apologized, quote unquote, apologized, he went on stream with Kai Cenat and offered Kai Cenat. This is right after this. He goes on stream with Kai Cenat and offers Kai Cenat Viagra. This 20-year-old kid.
My nigga, you putting that work in, bro.
Yeah.
What's that?
We gonna send you some of these.
Wait, hold on. What is that?
It'll have you right. It'll have you right for up to 36 hours.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
it might be a little bit.
Wait, you took one of those?
Yeah.
That was the problem. He took one of them. That was the problem. We gonna send you some of them. They gonna have you at 36 hours. Are you?
Yo, Shannon, I'm not gonna lie, bro. From what I was hearing, my nigga, you putting that work in, bro.
Yeah.
What's that?
We gonna send you some of these.
Wait, hold on. What is that?
It'll have you right. It'll have you right for up to 36 hours.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
it might be a little bit.
Wait, you took one of those?
Yeah.
That was the problem. He took one of them.
So
that was the problem.
Somebody said he has a Viagra sponsorship every show. If you could come up with a video, please send us the link in the chat. If you can come up with a video where you had a Viagra sponsorship before that Instagram live lie, you could please do it. And then somebody in the chat said, you look at another grown man as a leader. Hell yeah, I do. I have grown man coaches. I've been having coaches since I was a grown man. I don't know. We just think differently, bro. We think differently. We live lives in different worlds. I don't need a leader once I turn 17, 18 years old. Every grown man that has more experience, more anything than me, that's a leader. I think that's pretty common with any successful person like myself. I think it's pretty common. We all have leaders. We all have mentors, whether it's Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan. If you want to move to another sport, or whether you want to move to acting, or whether you want to move to comedy, or whether you want to move to music, or whether you want to move to business, all of the grown men will tell you that they have another grown man. So I don't know. We just come from different places. I'm not going to go back and forth with you. You do your thing if it's working for you. If it's not, second guess your choices in life. All right, let's move to the next one.
So the next one was the screenshot from Instagram with Shaq, Jay.
Okay, yeah, you can put that on because Shaq been telling us about Shannon Sharpe.
Yeah. Do you want me to go ahead and read it?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So this is Shaq.
By the way, guys, this I would take this with a grain of salt because Shaq and Shannon Sharpe at this time they were being there was an issue with them. Shannon Sharpe basically called Shaq lazy, and then they were going back and forth, but they've never liked each other. So we're gonna read this to you, but just take it with a grain of salt because I don't know if everything Shaq is saying is true, but he did say this stuff before the lawsuit that Shannon Sharpe is dealing with now. So that's the only reason why we included it. But please take it with a grain of salt because I don't know if what Shaq is saying is true. Go ahead. Might just be Shaq being Shaq.
Yeah. So Shaq says, you took me sticking up for Shay as jealousy shows how smart you are and how you say anything to get clicks. So here's some clickbait for you. If you ain't ranked in the top 10 in your profession, then you can't speak on me. Don't forget, I know what you did to get where you at. Me jealous, LOL, sounds like you jealous. I know you're trying to stay relevant by gossiping on your podcast. We don't believe you. We need more people in case you forget. You need more people in case you forget. 4 rings, 3 MVPs, and then it goes on about his success.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So but he did say, you know that I know what you did to get where you are. He said, that's what I took from it. You know that I know what you did to get where you are. Then from here, we get into the lawsuit stuff. So when we play these recordings of him talking to a 22-year-old snow bunny. This is when the lawsuit came down.
Okay, just a second.
Yeah. So for those of you guys who do not know, he was sued for $50 million for knocking down a OnlyFans model that he met in the gym. And from some of these recordings, it sounds like they're in a real relationship. This 57-year-old man.
Days, maybe.
You're coming to LA tomorrow?
Yes.
Well, I don't know why you want to go out.
Don't worry about it, Daddy.
Well, okay.
Okay, what?
Well, I'm not really interested in getting choked, so I guess we're going.
Yeah. I might choke you in public. Big black guy chokes small white woman.
You're coming to LA tomorrow?
Yes.
Well, okay.
Okay, what?
Well, I'm not really interested in getting choked, so I guess we're going.
Yeah. I might choke you in public. big black guy chose small white woman.
All right, we got another one, right?
No, that was the only one I got.
All right,
But
so
if you can't hear what she was saying was she's like she's saying, she said, so we're going out tomorrow, and he's like, yes, and then she
said you're coming to LA tomorrow because she lives in Vegas, or something, or vice versa. He was in Vegas, but there's another one. But guys, I just want to be real. This here could be some kind of kink. I don't know. There's also text messages. You guys could look up this stuff yourself. There's also text messages of her saying, "I want a big black baby in me," and yeah. And then her also saying, "I told you I didn't want to do it raw. I wanted you to use a condom, and you didn't use a condom." There's like text messages out there too. We just didn't have time to go and research all this stuff. But there's another thing of him saying he's gonna choke her. I don't know if this is kinky.
Well, that's what he was saying in it. I guess there's an extension of it, but he was saying
no, there's two recordings.
He might choke her in public, and then she was like, "Well, I'm not really interested in getting choked." And then he's like, "Well, big black guys choke small white women."
No, he said big black guy, not guys.
Oh, guy.
He said I might choke you in public, and then he's saying it's going to be a big black guy smoking a small white woman. I don't know if that's their kink. I don't know if this is what they do. I have no idea, and nor do I care. But this girl's 22 years old that you met at the gym.
Now,
like, bro.
So Mark Jag says the way she was talking, he should have known she was lining him up.
Yes, but that's my point.
That's what I'm listening to too. I'm like, she doesn't sound interested at all.
Exactly. That's my point. This guy got lined up by a 22-year-old snow bunny that he met in the gym. And people want to tell me, oh, they're going after his money. And, they knew he was going to $100 million. And all of a sudden, boom. Bro, then be smart. You're a whole grown granddad. I mean, I don't know if his children have children, but I mean, most 57 to 60-year-olds that I know, they got grandchildren. Like, you're a whole grown granddad. How are you this dumb? I'm telling you again, these guys should not be the people we be hitching our wagons to and be like, yo, I'm gonna follow that path. That worked for me. I'm sorry, that worked for him. Let's try that route. It's wrong on both levels to me, Special K says. Because why would you want your grandfather's whole thing by buddy? Yes, 100%. But I don't think that she wanted that. I think she wanted the money. I think she knew that he had money, and she attached herself to that money the way a lot of these young girls these days do. And I don't think that it's right or wrong. If that's what they want to do, you do whatever you want. I'm not the judge. I'm not God. That's not how I live my life. And that's not how I encourage other people who are around me to live their life. But if they want to do it, do you. I don't care. But all I'm saying is, this is as we say in Trinidad, big donkey jackass. This big jackass went and got lined up, clearly. So that's what we knew. That's what we knew.
In Jamaica, we say that Diambafu.
Diambafu.
Well, where I'm from.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And I think that they were trying to line him up, and I think he made it easy for them. I think he made it easy for them. And we seen the signs. We seen his reckless behavior at the basketball game, trying to fight the players on the court while you work for FS1. You literally work for the sports network that you're going to be on the next morning, and you're trying to fight the players on the court and the player's dad on the court. We see you, in my opinion, pretending to drink Hennessy, but maybe he was even drinking Hennessy. I think he was just pretending, to be honest, on national television for 60% white person audience that make us look like fools. And they're looking at you like, whoa, isn't it a little early for that? It's 9 o'clock in the morning and you got a cigar and drink a Hennessy. That's not fun. I think somebody said he's funny. That's not funny to me. think somebody in the chat said it's funny. That's not funny to me. I'm sorry. That's not funny to me. If that's what you do in real life, then do it in your own real life. But don't put that on national television. That's not funny to me. When you put it on national television as a spoof. To me, I don't like it. That's to me. Okay.
Okay. Well, let me try and challenge you on that.
And drop the link for anybody else who wants to challenge me on that.
Oh yeah, let me drop it right now, guys. If you want to join in on the live, you have something you want to say, you agree with or disagree, just there's a link in the chat. So some people could say that him doing whatever he wants on
So 1 second before you do that, Kevin Hart said, "Hunk has accomplished what I'm trying to accomplish." No, I'm not trying to accomplish that, guys. I'm here only because of the Diddy trial, like literally. Bro, I have a whole other 3 ventures. Like, just Google me. Like, just go on mywincolumn.com. Like, I don't do this. I'm a real estate person. Like, I have a whole nother stuff. I literally do this in evenings and sometimes in mornings to encourage people and to lead people. He's not doing what I'm trying to do. We are not in the same lane. He's trying to be a goof and a funny buffoon, and I'm trying to bring light to the community. There's a big difference. Don't compare me to Kunk, drunk Unk. Okay? Don't compare us. We're not the same. All right?
Okay. So some could say that he is, he's performing for these people and it's embarrassing. But then on the other hand, they can say him doing what he wants to do on this level of this on that platform is empowering Black people. It's empowering to Black people because he's doing what he wants to do. And so that's what I thought about. It might be stupid, but you can tell me what you think. And you guys feel free to roast me in the chat too if you think it's stupid.
Well, I'm not saying, but here's the thing. And this is the difference between me and those type of people. I don't think like that. I think if all I ever do is what I want to do, then it's not good. Sometimes what you want to do is not good for you. Many times what you want to do is not good for you. You have to be disciplined. You have to resist what you want to do and do what is right to do. So some people will say, yeah, well, he's living his life. He's doing whatever the hell he wants. He's doing what he wants to do. Okay, that's good for him, but that's not how I think. I don't always do what I want to do. Many times I do what I don't want to do, and that's how I get to where I am right now. It's called discipline.
Shout out to IE Network. Shout out to you. Thank you so much for the super chat. IE Network says their beef started in the 90s over a woman.
That's right. That's absolutely right. Speaking of the 90s, let's go to the 2010s. Is it 2010 or 2000s?
Yeah, 2010. So this is about the recording that I'm gonna show you guys is about what's the name of the lady, Jay?
Michelle Bundy.
Yeah, Michelle Bundy Evans, and her claims that she was raped and sexually harassed or whatever by Shannon Sharpe, and then she filed a lawsuit in 2023.
Real quick, Kevin Hart said, you being in real estate means nothing. You're trying to give your opinion just like him. I'm not giving my opinion just like him. I'm trying to encourage people. I'm not, if you guys have noticed, I've only ever drawn a line from what we're seeing to my interpretation to encouraging other people. There's a line here, right? So the line goes from the subject. And the reason why I can explain this so well is because we met about this before we did this. I didn't just jump on this and say, okay, like put the camera on. There's 3 people in this venture. C is one of them, I'm one of them, and V is one of them. We met and said, what's the angle here in order to make sure our vision is still the same? I don't just sit here and spew opinions. That's not what this is. We say our mission is to encourage people to be better leaders. Then we say, okay, how can we use this thing to put it in my mind to say, this is what I have seen here and my observation of this, and this is my encouragement to you. Take the encouragement or don't take the encouragement and keep going. That is not the same thing as jumping on some place and giving your opinion. I think that you're not understanding what I do here. And then you said, because I'm in real estate means nothing. No, it means everything, because I don't need to make money in this space. As a matter of fact, I don't need to make money in this space. Like, this is specifically a new venture to encourage more people to be leaders. That's it. So it's very different. I don't care if he encourages people. That's clearly not what his goal is. His goal is to talk sports and give his opinion on sports. That's it. I don't care if he encourages people or not. Lots of people indirectly encourage people. And the link has been dropped a bunch of times. Yo, Kevin Hart, jump on if you want. David B says he was close. He was close to signing $100 million deal. Yes, no problem to a tap dance a little if he gets you generational wealth for your family. Look, generational wealth is one thing. And that's perfectly fine. And I think that people put a lot on generational wealth. My grandmother, when she passed away, and when her parents passed away, and so on and so forth, they didn't have that much at all. But what they passed down to me that got me where I am and what I can give to my kids, what my brother is giving to his children, and my mother didn't have anything, is an understanding of how to approach life, which is a lot more valuable than just money. It's very different. I think everybody thinks, oh yeah, like, oh, my kids will never have to worry about money, and my grandchildren will never have to worry about money. I don't know how good that is or bad that is. I don't know, because I've never been in that situation where I never had to worry about money growing up. We always did. However, what I do know is that the wisdom, the life experience, the life skills that were honed, all of that kind of stuff, it made me much more valuable to the people around me than $100 million would. That's how I look at it. That's it. You might look at it a different way. That's perfectly fine. But I wanted to respond to that because everybody be saying, I'm going to dance a little bit and I'm going to be this because of generational wealth. And I look at Dave Chappelle as a number one example, as you don't got to do that. Dave Chappelle turned down $100 million, but because of his brilliance, came back and made 2-3 times the amount, because he said, I ain't gonna dance for y'all. And I just rather walk away. And because of his brilliance, came back and did that. I look at people like that. I don't look at people like Shannon Sharpe and say, yeah, he danced a little bit, he got what he had to do. I just think differently. All right.
All right, we're gonna get into the video now.
And somebody said, what do you think that nightcap started as? It started as two celebrities.
Jay,
famous football players.
Ray wants to join in on the conversation.
Okay, yeah. Bring Ray in.
What's going on with it? I'm gonna give a short, sweet take on what I think, what I believe, and my opinion has no dominion over anybody. I'm gonna say this right here, right? And I was saying in the comments, if it's about this young lady, why is nobody doing interviews with her? Why is nobody trying to see about the trauma that led her to online prostituting, which is very traumatic in the long run? And we all know that doesn't last long. There's no real longevity in it. But everybody is putting the focus on him because he has an age gap. Okay, cool. She's not a kid. He's grown. That's one thing we can't deny. Another thing that nobody isn't saying either, we all know that it's a setup. We all know it's a setup. So if we know it's a setup, she's grown, and the agency that she's with is pretty much trafficking, but nobody's even addressing that part. Nobody's doing no interviews with her. Then what we talking about? Because he's Shannon Sharpe, because he has a platform, because he is a big time celebrity. At what point are we gonna start really looking at the facts of what's going on? Why are we talking about this? And What can we do can solve the problem, solve the issue? Because we can say all day long, man, he ain't supposed to be talking to her because of his age. You can say that, but there's nothing against the law to say that he can't. Because if you go back in the day, man, they was dating women when they was 16. Now, I don't agree with that at all, but this is what they was doing.
So, Ray, real quick, I'm gonna let you cook a little bit
Go
more,
ahead.
if I could. Mark Jack said what I was thinking. We're not talking about Shannon being with a younger woman, and I don't know how long you were on here. We were talking about. I agree with you. I actually said it earlier. You could rewind it in your YouTube if you want. I was saying he got lined up. I was saying that. What I was saying is he should know better. That's what I was saying. This whole conversation was about you are a grown 57-year-old, maybe grandfather man, and maybe you made a mistake, but there's a pattern of behavior of you continue to make these stupid mistakes like you're 20 years old. And what we were saying is, if that's you, bro. But these aren't the people that we should follow, that keep making the same mistakes over and over again. These aren't the people we should say, hey, he made a podcast, he did well in football, he's a Hall of Famer, so that means he's a person that's worthy of being called Unc or an OG. That's what we were saying. But according to everything you say, I agree with you.
Okay, let me say this because I did say this in the comments as well. Unc, OG is not a status that you get from personal accolades. Unc, OG is a status that you get from age. Like, this is the reason we don't call Unc and OGs YN, because it's an age difference. Like, I can't call you no OG if you're in your 20s. You ain't lived long enough. You ain't got that experience. So we can't put a title and say, well, he can't be Unc because he hasn't did certain things to our approval. No, that's just an age thing.
So for me, the reason why I disagree with what you're saying is because at least where I grew up, Unc or OG was not age. It was referred to the person. It's a term of endearment. For example, you could have, you probably call somebody your auntie that wasn't your actual auntie, but they might have been growing up, but they might have been only 35 years old, and you will call them auntie out of respect, even if it's your friend's mother. It's not your actual auntie. And to me, those are terms of endearment. Those are OG and Unc is terms of like, I respect everything you are doing right now, and you're still leading, or you're still doing this. So I think that's where we have a difference in probably the way we grew up. That's probably the difference. Is you grew up saying if somebody's older, you call them that out of their name, like because of their age, and I call them that because of respect or endearment.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Would you call someone in their 20s Unc or Unc?
No, because I'm not in my 20s. I would call the old. Exactly. But for what you're referring to, if somebody's 50 and I don't really think that they're moving the right way, I'll call them. I might call you sir. I might call you big man. I might call you boss. But I'm never gonna call you Unc. I'm never gonna call you OG. To me, those are terms of endearment. I might say big man, yo, what's good, big man? I might say something like that, but I'm not gonna say those. That's me, and that's why. And if you see the thumbnail, it says "You ain't Unc to me." Maybe to other people because of your age and your accomplishments or whatever that might look like, you are. But if you ain't moving right, you ain't Unc anymore.
I get what you're saying.
To jump into that too, and to add to that, I mean, it's part of the reason why I believe myself and a lot of people call Sean G Unc all the time. It's not just because of his age, but we have great respect for what he's saying and stuff like that.
I agree. And Sean G don't have as much money as Shannon Sharpe. I don't know how much money Sean G has, but I know he doesn't have as much money as Shannon Sharpe did. But I have more respect for Sean G. I'll call Sean G Unc. I'll call Sean G OG all day, because I realize this is a man of integrity, and this is a man that I respect. Now, I'm not saying I don't respect Shannon Sharpe, because I don't really know him. I just don't respect some of the things he's done. But All I'm saying is you keep making the same pattern as of behavior this entire time. We're all seeing it. You're a big grown man trying to fight basketball players on the court. You're a big 50-something-year-old man trying to fight a basketball player's father on the court. You we're going to get into it. You already had a restraining order against you over another snow bunny back in 2010. Now you're being sued for $50 million 15 years later. When do you learn? When did you lie? You say you threw, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
All right. We're gonna move to that, right? All right. He's had different behaving patterns that has been seen, right? Most of the stuff that is coming out now probably been since the Cat Williams interview and things of that nature, right? So now he's getting a little bit more spotlight on who he really is. But to say he's supposed to behave a certain way because we expect him to be that way is selfish. It's selfish on our part.
I'm not saying how he should act. I want to be clear, and we're talking the same exact point, just from different angles at the table. We're talking the same. I'm not saying how he should act. He could act however he want to act. Clearly, it's worked for him so far. I mean, he's dealt with a little bit of turbulence along the way, as we all do, but clearly he's successful in his own right, and clearly these things have worked for him. I'm not trying to tell. I could never. First of all, I can't tell another human being how to act unless they're my little cousin, brother, or something like that, or somebody who's granted me that privilege. However,
well, let me get the words right. You said he should know better, correct?
I believe he should know better. Yes,
he should know better. Okay.
Jay, hold on.
Right, let me know if I'm right or
just
wrong.
let him cook for a sec.
Do all of us, each one of us in the lab, are we all have the same cards in life? Do we all have the same cards in life, or we play the hands we are dealt?
Right, we play the hands we're dealt. I agree with that.
Okay, so that means I might not have the experience that you get. You might not have the experience that I get. He might not have the experience that someone else had. So that little 20-year-old, 22, wherever she is now, that chick might got some game on her that probably can outwit any of us. We don't know, especially if we haven't dealt in the world that she's been dealt in. That's the same with Shannon. We gotta stop there with each other.
Well,
I get it, certain things. Hey,
yeah,
you aren't supposed to do certain things. But at
when
the
I
same
said,
time,
I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with you. I'm just saying, when I want to be clear, when I say he should know better, I'm saying he should know better in my world of, all right, you should have known better. I don't look at you as a leader in our community. That's what I'm saying. You should have known better. That's what I'm saying.
That's fine. And you know what? You entitled to feel like that, and anybody else who wants to feel like that. But I would say he deserved to lose everything. I don't think he should deserve to suffer at the hands of someone that we all know, we all in agreement that, man, this chick is looking for a payday.
Yeah, Ray, you probably weren't on earlier. I said I hope he wins. I said that. I said I hope he wins the lawsuit because it's nonsense. We all know it. I said that earlier. This is what happened because these are what? This is live going on like 2-3 hours. So I said I hope he wins. Yeah, I hope he wins. I don't want anything bad to happen to Shannon Sharpe. I think Shannon Sharpe is great in his own right. What I'm saying, earlier I was saying, I'm still struggling with trying to get the people to click on the thumbnail, but not come in with a preconceived notion of what I was going to say. Because I'm not trying to say, because even when I put up the thumbnail right away, one of my OGs, one of my big brothers, he's not quite old enough to be called Unc, but he's one of my big brothers. He said, what kind of thumbnail is this? And he was like, what are you gonna say about Unc? And my point is, I'm still working on the thumbnails to try to get people to click on it, but at the same time, like, make it a little salacious enough for people to click on it, but at the same time still stick to exactly what I was saying. And I probably made a mistake in this one with the thumbnail, because I didn't want people to think I was piling on or trying to kick Shannon's back in. All I was trying to do, and if you watch this whole entire live later on, hopefully you do, or you listen to it while you're driving or something, what I said is this is not an indictment on Shannon Sharpe. This is just an indictment on our community to say these people, they're great, but they're not the people that you want to pattern your behavior after. That's what I was saying.
And you know what? You have a right to feel like it. But I'm gonna hit you right on the flip side, right? It may be somebody out here who experiencing the same thing he experienced in different formats, right?
Right.
They might need to hear what he got to say. They might need to see how he moved because they like, man, I don't know what to do. It might be somebody that drive on a suicidal edge. You don't really know. So somebody might need to hear what he's saying today. But if you ain't going through that and you're not experiencing it, you might be like, man, you don't need to hear that. We don't need to listen to that. And that's cool. You can say that.
Right.
Each of us have different experiences in life that needs to be what's the word I'm looking, exonerated in a way.
You have a great point. I'm not gonna disagree with that point. I'm coming from the experience of hearing a lot of people in my community and in my friend circle and stuff like that being like, oh, Shannon's hilarious. This is that. And I'm just like, you guys think this is funny? Like, this is, oh, you see that boy Shannon at the game? He was about to tear these guys up. Bro, like to me, I'm like, or you seen Shannon, he brought the henny, he brought the henny to the thing.
I thought he was wrong.
Yeah, but
I was
I'm
like,
saying,
why
I'm
are you
like,
trying to fight the whole team?
yeah,
Like
I'm hearing this stuff, and I'm just like, bro, these are the people we're looking up to. Like that's what that's where this stuff is coming from. Remember, and you guys should remember too, all the stuff that I'm talking about, it's coming from my everyday experience in living life, where I live life, and in the circles of friends that I have and stuff like that. And at certain points, I'm just like, you know what? I gotta say something because I can't just keep disagreeing in silence. I gotta be telling people all together, yo. And I agree. Ray, you get your view out there. You know what I'm saying? Tell people about it. Like, we all need a diverse amount of opinions out here so we can all learn more, because you don't learn if you agree with everybody. You learn when you disagree with people, right? So go ahead.
Well, I'll say this, and I'll close out with this and let you know finish your show. And I thank you.
My pleasure.
I want everybody to remember, as me as you, we're not perfect. And just as every time you might point that finger at him, you could be next easily. And the grace that you not giving him can be the grace that you want. Appreciate your time, man.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Ray. Thank you very much, man. Shout out to Ray. I know C, you wanted to say something, and I want you guys real quick before you go. I just want you guys to understand, I ain't piling on Shannon. I'm just telling y'all, be careful and look at the signs of the people who you follow. And when we started this, we started with his stuff with Tony Busby, and then he brought Jay-Z into it. To me, in my, like, where I'm from, I shouldn't say where I'm from, where I grew up, that's a no-no. You don't have a legal thing with somebody, and then all of a sudden, when the other person is beating the legal thing, you say that's the same thing they try to do to my man X, Y, and Z. Yo, why you calling my name? Don't call my name. You win this, you do that. And that's how we start. But we just have, I just feel like I want to hold people at a higher standard of being leaders. If you want to be a leader, Shannon Sharpe, he doesn't have to be a leader. Live his life. God bless the man. That's all I'm saying. We just need to look and scrutinize and look at these little signs. That's all. You said you were going to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, we have Audra waiting in the back room, wants to join the live as well. And the reels in my head, I see your chat. Yes, you can. I just dropped the link just below you asking if you can call in. You can just click on that link, and once we get to you, then we'll add you.
Before we get Audra in there, can you just give me 3 minutes? I gotta run to the restroom and just shout out some people who are here in the chat. I gotta end at the top of the hour, guys, because I got a long day tomorrow too, and I gotta unwind. I still gotta go to the gym. So I'll end at the top of the hour. I'll take 2 more, and then we'll call it a wrap.
Mhm.
All right. Hey, my pleasure, Ray.
All right, guys. While we wait for Jay to get back, just gonna do some shout out. I'm gonna shout out Black Sigma. Thank you so much for the super chat. IE Network. Thank you again so much for the super chat. Let's get into the regular. All right. The reels in my head. Once you join, we'll get you in once Jay's finished with Audra, and I see somebody named Michelle B is waiting in the back room. So once he's finished with those people, then you'll be next once you click on the link. Shout out to Mark Jag. Respect to all your messages in the chat, bro. Shout out to Derek Donnell, Special K, Bree Clark, Bree. Welcome. Con Enigma. Shout out to you. And if anybody's just getting into the this live, just letting you know that we're dropping the link in the chat occasionally. And if you want to join in, if you agree or disagree with Jay, just join in on the live, and y'all can hash it out.
All right, y'all. I appreciate that. See, thank you for covering for me. I just have to run to the restroom. All right. Let's take a couple more. As much.
And then Michelle B.
Okay.
Michelle.
Yeah, and just let you guys know, top of the hour, I'm gonna jump out of here. But I appreciate all of you guys always supporting us and being respectful when you guys come up onto the platform. I really appreciate that as well. All right.
I can add both of them, and you guys can, if you want, or just one by one.
Add the first one first, and then you can add the second one after the first one speaks and I speak, and then maybe if the two of them want to say anything to each other, then we could do it that way as well.
Cool. All right, I'm adding Audra now.
You got it.
Hey, how y'all doing?
I'm well, Audra.
I like your show. I love your coverage of the Diddy trial. You are impartial. Now, after the trial, I heard you say some things that I'm like, whoa, well, because anyone could be lied on, right? And you could say, okay, well, maybe he didn't do this, but he should get caught for, whatever he's done some other time. Okay, that may be the case, but I do want to point out that the only thing I feel that Diddy has done, Shannon Sharpe has done, men like him, and women like him, I believe that they do suffer from colorism. Even, Sean G suffers from colorism because of some of the things they have said and done, right? Like you, if you're, and I don't know if you're aware of the climate or the atmosphere, the ambiance that's going on right now, but people are that are African American, are now saying that they are FBA, Foundational Black Americans.
Yes.
And then we have those that are in the diaspora, right? That from Africa, different countries, the islands, and so forth. Yeah. So you have to understand that all across YouTube, we have Too Strong. There's Mr. Let Go. There's Wisdom's Daughter. There's Infamous Sylvia. There's Unton Daniels or whoever. And there's Kai Sanat and so forth. You have to understand that these people are not FBA. See, Shannon Sharpe, when he went up there with the glass of alcohol and the cigar, imagine if that media channel was owned by Foundational Black Americans, FBAs, right? These are men that they sit around a billiard table or they play cards. He was being, I guess, a reflection of sort of that atmosphere. Now, granted, he's at a table with Caucasians, right? But some Caucasians are aware of our culture. Some are. And that's because we have been neighbors, right? Every major city around, at least major cities around the United States, you have a black side of town and you have a Caucasian side of town. Okay. So and also I want to also point out that I'm not necessarily saying that we are the minority here. We could say that the census is wrong. I don't know, you know,
True.
because if you look at it, we are half and half around town. And on our side of towns, we have the projects. You have point 0.1 of an acre lot, smaller lots. So we're packed in like sardines, right? And there's usually more people to a household because we have more children typically. So we can draw those narratives. But when it comes to colorism, I do find that a lot of people from other parts of the world do suffer more so from colorism than we do. We do have people here that suffer from colorism, Shannon Sharpe, Diddy, a few others being that way, right? Because you can date outside of your race. People do that, okay? But when it comes to building a legacy, your heritage, your children, your offspring, you want to look like you. You can't if you don't want your children to come out looking like you, there's some hate from within, right? So myself, I've always considered myself a Pan African, right? Because I love myself, I love my people here and abroad. But we're seeing, that there's a lot of people from abroad that don't seem to like us, and those are the ones that have the bigger voices, the bigger platforms. Like how you see where the one couple or lady and man or whoever, they scam 6.5 million from a bank to invest in their own country. To us, that can be seen as treason because you're trying to destabilize one economy to give back to your own economy. And you know now from for what the media has put out there, it's like, okay, it's coming true. Okay, this group of people, they scam, they do different things, right? So on the other hand, you could look at us and say, okay, this is what's been put in the media about FBAs. You guys are thugs. What else they like to say, but they don't tell you about our tax dollars and where they're being spent. We pay the most in taxes, but that money goes to prisons when it's used for us. It goes to affordable housing, but that does not benefit us. That benefits the only developers. Rent for a project apartment is not $4 a month. It comes from our tax dollars going to them. And then when it comes to down payment assistance, even the recent program Rebuild Florida, they have given over $350,000 per house for Caucasian homes that are worth over $600,000. $350,000 that they don't have to pay back. And when I hear people talk about reparations, oh, they should give 250,000 per person. But they're giving these reparations every day. So when you talk about us as a people, understand, yes, a lot of us are dealing with things, right? Shannon Sharpe being one. But you cannot, throw away his legacy and what he has done and built on someone who, yes, she is looking for a check. Whether Shannon Sharpe, even if he wasn't FBA, what if he was Caucasian? This woman, she's still looking for a check. Everyone was on board when it came to the one guy with Heard, with the last name Heard, the woman,
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp. He was Caucasian. Everyone followed that case because it was televised,
Right.
right? These things happen no matter your color. Was she raised right? No, she wasn't raised right. She's out there slinging it everywhere. It's not just him. So when it comes to these platforms, yes, point out things, but yes, understand we're not perfect. No one is perfect, right? Does he have integrity though?
I don't believe
Is he
so.
honest?
I don't believe so. And
Why
that's
not?
what I'm getting at. Well, because when he talked about I threw my phone on the bed and it automatically went into Instagram Live. I thought that was not honest. When he and this is just on my own gripe with him from like before, when he says one thing in 2 3 years 4 years ago in a sports take, and then he gets hired in a different network, and then all of a sudden he switches up his take like drastically. I'm like, that's not a person of integrity when you clearly there's videos out there of you saying the total opposite. And when he says stuff like what do you say to the Megan Thee Stallion, whatever. You knew what you were doing. You knew what you were saying. And then you got to go apologize again. Those types
He
of things.
apologized to Megan
He did apologize to her. He did. He did.
for
He did.
what?
He said, "Oh, you might not have been on." He said, if I had Megan, I would have split her legs apart like it's 3:15 and went balls deep or something like that. Started saying, this is a young woman that's like over 20 years young, and he said this on his podcast, not in a rap song, not in a comedy skit, not in anything like that. And he did apologize to her
And that's
after.
the thing. See, that's where there's a cultural sort of different, you're hitting a brick wall. Like you don't understand his culture. Because if it were him, locally saying that, people would get it.
I
She's
don't.
putting
Hey, look,
herself
I'm
out
at the
there
cigar.
as a 304.
Audra,
That's what she
I'm
gets.
at the cigar shop every Friday with a bunch of dudes that are his age. Like, I like in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? Like, I definitely know. I'm saying it's not the place to say it
You're
on
saying
national television.
exactly. You're saying it's not the place, and that's why I threw out there. What if that network was black owned?
Still not the
Right
place to say it.
now, at the same time, there's certain things you can and cannot say. You would get checked in certain ways if there isn't a hidden agenda. Like
If he
Vibe
said that when he was
magazine,
30, it would have been, or 20, it would have been different. But
but
saying that
you
at
have
that
to look at
age,
the
I
entire
think it's
context.
inappropriate.
Look at her, right? And
Yeah,
like,
true. But
yeah,
then why did he apologize to her?
because it's called backlash. She got backlash. She got checked on it. They didn't like it in that atmosphere. So that's what I'm saying. Like there are certain things that go on that does not get checked.
So
For
I was
example,
raised a little different. I was raised that you can think it, you can say it in certain environment. Look, let me tell you something. So I grew up, and I used to drink, and at a function with my grandmother swore I never drank in my life because my grandmother grew up and she grew up with abuse, a lot of abuse. And her husband, my grandfather, used to come home drunk and beat the hell out of her. And the same thing happened to her mother and her father. Her mother and father, the father used to go out, drink with his buddies, come home, throw the pot at her. The food's not done right, hit her. And the same thing happened to her. And it trickled down. So she would get very nervous and anxious when we would be at family get-togethers and there was alcohol involved. So out of respect for her, not to make her feel any way, or not to let some of my little cousins say, "Oh yeah, Jay's drinking, drinking, drinking." If you want to do all that stuff, do it on your own. Learn and grow up in that stuff. But I'm not going to be the one that leads you there, and I'm not going to be one that triggers you. There, just because this is your culture or this is what you have to do, in my opinion, or at least in the way I live my life. I shouldn't say my opinion. F my opinion. Who cares? The way I live my life is there certain instances in which you act certain ways, understanding who's watching you, understanding who's looking at you, and I think that that was inappropriate. Certain things that he doesn't say are inappropriate in that particular setting, not overall, but just inappropriate in that particular setting, is what I'm saying.
there's a lot of things that go on in society today that are very inappropriate. Would I say or
Correct.
do those things that he's done? Heck no. Okay, that's why it starts at home, the education.
Right.
When a child, when a daughter is growing up, because you want a woman to be fit, feminine, beautiful, soft-spoken, submissive to you, right? So when
Right.
she's being raised, right, she can't be allowed to watch people like, what's her name, Megan Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj.
Right.
No, I don't even listen to Nicki Minaj's music when I found out she did what she did to her body, just
Mhm.
because of that. Because you're teaching young women to hate themselves, right? Michael
I agree.
Jackson. We could
Yeah.
go on and on and on,
Yeah.
right? But what I'm saying is, when it comes to our youth and it comes to following people, you shouldn't follow anybody. You should be a leader in your own, and then you can decipher, hey, do I want to go along with this program or not? You
Here's the
know?
thing. Here's the thing. Not everybody is a born leader or has honed the skills of a leader, and I learned that a long time ago. And I don't think anybody's a born leader, to be honest with you. But a lot of people are born with more leadership qualities than other people, but nobody's born an actual leader, to be honest, to me. And I agree with you. And we're gonna get the other person on. I'm gonna keep you on, but we're gonna get the other person on that's been waiting because we got to wrap up soon. But I just want to say, some people were saying that in the chat, you shouldn't follow anybody. And I'm not saying you should follow a person. I'm saying you follow the person's example that they set for you. That's what I'm trying to say. So if somebody sets a good example, then you follow a good example. And all I was saying about Shannon Sharpe is he has a history of setting bad examples of leadership.
I
His
want to say
money
one
came
last
from
thing.
hard work, and he won the genetic lottery in being 1.0000001% of that type of athlete. That's that you pair that with hard work and you can become a football player. And then once you retire in the Hall of Fame with that hard work and that body, you can also then have other avenues of platform. But what about all the other kids that don't have that? You're setting an example that you could just be trying to fight people on the court, trying to drink Henny at 9 a.m., try to objectify Megan Thee Stallion and do all this stuff, and you're gonna be like Shannon Sharpe. But that's not how life works. But go ahead. You had one more point. And we're
I
gonna
just
keep
want to
you on.
say one last thing.
Go ahead.
It starts at home, right? And I use the example of a young woman because that's what men want, right? They may want a Megan Thee Stallion too. So in regards to Shannon Sharpe, that woman, whoever she is, 18, 22, whatever, no one knew about her. No one did, for a reason,
Right.
right? I'm sure you've dated people that you wouldn't marry,
Oh,
or
of course,
messed
100%.
around with people you
Well,
wouldn't
yeah,
marry.
I actually,
Yeah,
I agreed before I thought about the court, statement. I
right,
haven't dated anybody I wouldn't marry, but I have messed around with women I wouldn't marry.
right.
That's correct.
And
Yes.
there are people that have actually had children by
Correct.
women they
Yes.
have not been in a relationship with as
Correct.
well.
Yes.
So as a people, no, and this doesn't have to be as a people, it could be any race. Okay? It starts at home. You have to teach the youth, you know. So when they see these things on television, when they hear Unc or whoever, you know in your mind that's not Unc, you know, because Unc is at home. Unc is in our neighborhood. Okay? This is what they put out on television. That's entertainment.
Correct.
Yes, we do want to come out here and make sure that they're putting out the right things when it is going to affect someone's life per se. Because we have been, watching a lot of goofiness all over television since television was television.
Correct.
Okay? But when it comes to affecting someone's life, like right now, this is affecting Shannon Sharpe's life. So I think that's the reason people are clicking the link, because you can kick a man, but not when he's down. You know what I'm saying? Let's come out with, okay, she's dead wrong. Point blank. He could have, you know, colorism or whatever, but is he going behind someone's back, backstabbing him, trying to sue the networks for something that, they've done nothing to him? Is he doing underhanded stuff? No, she is. You know,
Right.
no one is perfect, and he does not have the same education level as you. He doesn't have the same upbringing as you. You know what I'm saying? So no one is going to be exactly the same, right? He's probably embarrassed that he hates himself, that he hates the way he looks. Which I'm African American, I'm black. I love the way he looks. If he only knew, there are women out here that love the way he looks. Beautiful women, curvy women, natural women. And look at he had a daughter that was on the show one time or something where they talked about him putting his hand on her. He loves curvy women. Maybe the reason she's in the background is because that's not his typical woman. That's just someone that does freaky things that he likes.
Well,
So
yeah,
I think that
100%.
we have to, stop spinning the narrative off on these celebrities. Yes, no Diddy and all of that they said, all these innuendos. At the end of the day, what has Diddy done?
Well,
Did he wife any of these women?
yeah,
No, for a
here
reason.
here's the thing. I don't compare Shannon Sharpe and Diddy because I don't the only way I compare them is I don't think either of them are leaders. But there's a difference. I don't compare the two of them necessarily because in this particular situation, because one was a whole government takedown of somebody. It was a whole scheme. And see, you could bring the other person on real quick. I'm gonna finish real quick, and then if any of you guys want to talk, Michelle B or Audra, we'll listen to Michelle B first. Then Audra, if you have any responses, and then I'll respond. But I don't compare those two situations because I didn't speak about anything about Puff until like with the Cassie situation in the civil lawsuit. That's that. But when the government starts getting involved and tries to target our community, that's when I was like, all right, that's enough. That's enough. Like, you may do something wrong to somebody, or they might do something wrong to you, or whatever, and then they want to make things even. Okay, I get that. However, it's for me, I don't compare those two situations. One's a civil trial, and the other one is a federal trial. That's serious now. You're trying to put this man away. You're not trying to take away $50 million. You're trying to put this man away and take him away from his family for the rest of his life. And that's when I was like, all right, that's enough. So that's why I spoke up.
Another thing too regarding Diddy, I wonder why no one actually talked about why did the case come forward anyways. They could say, okay, it's because of her civil suit. No, a case comes forward when someone files a complaint with the police. So why did all of these people get immunity? In order to get immunity, they need to know your story. Okay, so they had to have caught somebody in the action.
Yeah,
No one's going to come out and say, I'm a prostitute. No,
it
you
was
got
clear.
caught.
Yeah, it was clearly targeted.
And
I
it
believe
brought
they,
you against Diddy.
yeah, I
But no
believe
one's
they flipped
talking
Jane.
about that
I
either.
believe they flipped Jane. I believe they went to Jane and flipped her. But give me one sec, Audra. Let's get Michelle B over here. And Michelle B, talk to me.
I'm here. How you doing? I'm listening to all this. It's so
Fantastic.
all over the place, you know. My mind is swimming. It takes me to ego, you know, in a way that I tried to get away from it. Young lady spoke about colorism. All of this is internal, you know. We could define it any way we want to, but it's we have to look at ourselves and take personal responsibility. And no, nobody wants Shannon to go to prison or even get his money taken. But when is he going to be held accountable? You know, it's like having a child, you know, don't do that. I said, don't do that. Okay, now you're punished. You know what I'm saying? Like at some point, the talking to needs to be redirected. And he's obviously not in a mind space where he can redirect himself. And it can't be just enough everybody knowing, because again, the ego brings me back to that from when he butt dialed it and somebody heard it and recorded it to this being out in public, right? All the things he's done and these recordings, and you know, it's the ego. Let's think about this for a minute. You know, Shannon was you know, born in the South. Not saying that that really defines everyone, but a beginning has a lot to do with a middle and an end, right? And the fact that he really gave kudos to his grandmother as a strong Black woman who raised these two strong Black men. So when we talk about that, I can't get with colorism, because it's not so much about him not liking himself as far as color is concerned, because you know, colorism is a whole another set of things. It brings me back to the ego. Being told you weren't handsome, being told you weren't good enough, being told these things that made him feel less than. He's overexposed his ego in so many ways. I just think that Shannon had a great football journey, and that doesn't take the same mental capacity as it does to have relationships outside of sports. I think he even said that he worked out all the time and he spent a lot of time putting energy into being the best football player.
Right.
And so, you know, at that, you don't really get to form relationships with people, especially women. And again, the ego. Why do Black men choose white women? Why do white women choose Black men? You know, it can't just be him deciding, right? And just say hypothetically, she's setting him up. Well, you know, the relationship Shannon had with her was a dominatrix type relationship. So a submissive, you know, and there's another person who's not.
Right.
His whole way of thinking is different, right? He's wired different. And when has he stopped to really rewire? You know, he went from being a great football player to having access. Again, who's stopping and saying, hey, you know, when you get this dough, you do this. When you are around certain people, you conduct yourself this way. Like, who really raised him on the inside? I always say, and I'm not talking about, you know, having a God. I say have a power greater than yourself, right?
Right.
Because if you keep relying on your own devices, you know, you'll get what you've always gotten.
Right.
And nothing's stopped him. Nothing said, hey, you know what? Stop and take a look. And because this is all relationship stuff, this civil suit, this relationship, right? The woman's relationship, right? It's a space that he's been in and been in unsuccessfully. From his comment to Megan Thee Stallion, that takes away from me the colorism part, right? She's a Black woman.
Right.
But the point I'm making is about respect, right? And it's like with any simple principle, you can't give what you don't have, and you can't expect what you don't give yourself. I mean, it's not complicated to me, right? Shannon's not giving himself time to give himself time. Shannon is in excess, living in excess. And he's having a blind lead a blind. And when you don't feel at a certain level mentally or on an educational level, or even, you know, food, if someone cooks and they're a chef and you're not. I mean, he's with younger people because he feels inadequate. And only that can be healed by him, spending time with him. And when someone feels inadequate in any area of their life, no, we don't all get lawsuits, right? And we don't have our sexual escapades, you know, on video and all that stuff. But we do get revealed, right? And sometimes it's a whisper, sometimes it's a knock, sometimes it's, you know, $50 million. Or in Diddy's case, right? It's life in prison. It's all behavioral, and it's all how one sees themselves. And I liked what you said about Unc and, OG. So I'm born in 1960. I'm definitely older than you, but the definition still meant the same thing. You didn't earn that because you were older or because you had money. You earned it because you had respect. Right. And no, I'm not going to tell a 12-year-old that's brilliant in my community, I'm not going to call him Unc, right? But, I'm going to find another endearing, respectful name to call that person because I'm older than them, right?
Right.
Like I look up to you, right? I know I'm older than you. I would not call you Unc. I wouldn't even call you an OG, but I do tell you that I have respect for you. I just use the word, right? See you. I'm not going to dap you up. I'm a woman, but I'd greet you and I would definitely say respect. Right. So that all comes back to that. I just wanted to touch on that real quick. But again, when the young lady was speaking, I really want you to understand this. As women, we are all human. And yes, we're defined as women and men, boys and girls, whatever. How else are we going to know who we are, right? We can't walk around as a spirit like I wouldn't know who you were. But anyway, the inside, right? It all goes from that, right? And if we're not working on that, and let me tell you something, I'm just saying this because I've had to sit down with myself for 3 years. I've worked hard my whole life since I'm 14. I'm from New York. And I lived in California. I've lived in excess. I've been around Diddy, not like that, like hanging with him, but I've been in situations where I've met him. I'm a forensic accountant. That's what I did by trade. And I was to a lot of successful people and companies. And so my point I'm making is, an 80-hour work week was nothing for me. And I didn't always work on myself because I didn't have an opportunity. I never stopped, and then I had a child, definitely never stopped. But I had an injury, and an injury that made me sit down. And I'm not in New York anymore. I'm not in LA anymore. I'm in South Carolina. Who would have thought that? You know what I mean? Like, that was not something I thought would happen. And it's a slower space. And I'm just really getting to know me. And if we don't all stop, and yeah, we can point fingers and all that. Hopefully we're learning, right, from each other and taking what we like and leaving the rest.
Sorry, are you
Yeah.
Caucasian?
Well, what do you think, my dear?
I don't know.
Does it matter?
It matters when it comes to the term unk, right? Because in the African American and the Black society,
Well, let's just
you
stop
could be a
first.
crackhead on
Can
the
we
street,
stop
and we
first?
still call you
Let's
unk and auntie.
let's define who I am to you first.
You should know who you are. I shouldn't
No, you asked
define
me.
anything. You should know.
You asked me. You asked me, was I Caucasian?
Right, because that
Before you
means you don't
start talking to
understand
me.
our culture. That's
But
he
do you
was
believe
talking
I'm
about the term
Caucasian?
unk, that he's
But
not
do you
deserving
believe?
of the term unk.
Okay, but do you believe I'm Caucasian? You can't make that
I
statement to
don't
me until you.
know.
Well, then how can you talk to me about that when you don't
I'm
know? You're
asking you
giving me.
because you sound Caucasian. I sound Caucasian
Okay,
sometimes.
there we go. So I am not Caucasian. I am a
Okay,
Black
what are
woman.
you?
I'm a Black woman from New York.
Where are your descendants from?
From New York. From the South.
For the past 5 generations?
From Indian, Trail of Tears. I'm Black,
is that?
honey. I grew up in New York.
You said
I
from
grew up in
Indian Trail of
Tarrytown, New
Tears?
York.
What do you mean?
I grew up in Tarrytown, New York, by the
I
Tappan Zee
asked,
Bridge.
where were your descendants from? Where are your
My
ancestors
descendants
from?
are from which side?
Both
Because I
sides.
have West Indian, I have
Okay, so that's what
African.
I'm saying. You don't
Well, what are you
understand our
saying?
culture. I can
Wait,
tell
hold
a
on,
crackhead
baby.
on the street. I
I'm
can call her
born in
auntie.
1960 in New York City. I've
That's not
traveled the
that's
world,
not what we're talking about.
and
We're
I'm
asking you,
talking
where are
about
you from? Where did
I'm
your
from New
lineage
York.
from?
I'm from New York.
Okay,
I
where
am from New
is
York.
your parents
And
from 5 generations ago?
again,
Grandmother,
I just
grandfather
told
from
you,
both sides.
they are Indian, they are West Indian, they are African, they are French Canadian, and they are Black from New
Okay, you
York.
said West Indian and
Again, but why are
African.
you doing
What is
that?
West
Because,
Indian? What is West Indian? What do you mean by
okay,
that?
Before we get off on a
okay, hold
tangent,
on.
hold up, before we get on a
Why are we
tangent,
doing that?
hold up, before we get on a tangent, I just want to say that because I'm from the Caribbean. You guys already know I'm from Trinidad.
Right.
I
We're
grew
from
up.
St. Kitts.
Yeah, I grew up in a Black neighborhood.
There you go.
So I not in Trinidad. I grew up in
No, me
you know what I'm
too.
saying?
Not in St. Kitts.
Not in
Right.
yeah,
Not in French,
exactly,
not
not
in
in Trinidad.
Canada.
So
I grew up in Tarrytown, New York. In New
So
York.
what I'm saying is the terms
Right.
that we hear growing up every single day, you don't use unk to call a crackhead, which is what Michelle
No.
B
But
said.
we do.
You
That's
don't
what I'm
need to.
trying to tell y'all.
Maybe
We
that's in a
do.
different part. Maybe
In
this is
our
that.
community, we do.
Right.
But
Yeah.
you're
So
not
that's
from
maybe
our
a different
community.
part of America.
Well,
But
I'm
what
from
I'm
the
saying
street
is,
too. Let me
yeah.
tell you something. And in the street, again, I told you my journey, right? But that doesn't mean that you can't take me anywhere, because you can't. I'm from the street. And let me tell you, Shannon Sharpe is no unk. And please, you as a woman, I was going to say something to you, but you felt I couldn't because you thought I was white. But as a woman on the inside, you should be open to hearing anything that you identify with. Now, if you don't
Exactly,
identify,
open,
all
but
right,
you have
again,
knowledge to
okay, but I'm
understand
talking
who
about
is who.
experience, okay? I'm talking about experience. Okay. And like I said, I was born in 1960. All right. I grew up in New York. I traveled this world and I've been in the street, period. And let me tell you something. He ain't no unk. He wouldn't
Nobody
make it
calls a
a minute
goofy
on the block.
Yeah,
He
nobody
wouldn't
calls a
make it a
goofy
minute on the
OG.
block. He
Yeah,
hasn't earned it.
yeah, exactly.
He is
Nobody
out
calls a
here in
goofy
these
OG or
streets.
but
No, you
that might be
can't do
different where
it.
you're from, Audra. It probably is different. Not might be. It's obviously different
It's
in
definitely
that
different.
part. It's obviously
Definitely
different in that
different.
part. So
Right.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just
Right,
saying
but I'm saying this to say, Jay, okay, you guys are not FBA, so you're not aware of our culture. You're pointing out things that
We're
you
not
know
what?
nothing
What did you
about.
say? We're
So
not
when you
what?
guys get
I
on
did.
these platforms and do this, just know you're beating a dead horse. We already have Too Strong. We already have Wisdom's Daughter. We already have Mr. Let Go. We already have Infamous Sylvia. We already have Anton, whatever his name is. We already have Ringo. We already have all of these people out here that are already doing this. Now, the situation that Shannon Sharpe has, he has a show, right? You sit on, he has a show where he sit down, he talk to people. He has another show where he's on there with this guy calling him Unc. That's the
wait,
one
wait, hold up.
going
I think
crazy
I
calling
missed
him
a
Unc.
I think
Now,
I
the
missed a I think I
situation at
missed a
hand is
point.
this
Real
woman
quick,
is bringing
Audra, I
Me
think I missed
too.
accusations
one of your
What is
points.
this?
against him.
I'm
Audra,
confused.
I think I
So you
missed one of
guys
your
are going
points.
way off on a tangent. It's
I
about this girl bringing accusation against him. She's
I,
lying.
I think
Period.
I
What are you
think it
talking
doesn't
Regardless
about?
if he's
it,
Unc or not.
yeah, but
Well, well,
that's
well.
not what
Okay.
that's not what this live was about. This live was not about whether the
Yeah.
girl's telling the
Yeah, but
truth or
it's
not.
about you tearing him down.
No,
You're
it's
What do
not.
kicking
you
him while he's
It's
mean?
about
down.
me.
Would
It's
it have
about
ever gone to this
Audra.
conversation
How
I
is
had
it
this
think
girl
tearing
not
him
come forward?
down?
I think the best thing
Okay.
is I think the best thing is if you go and watch the live from the beginning, because clearly you just
Mm.
got here. You didn't see it, and you just clicked the thumbnail and you got like in the heat of it. So I think the best thing is go watch the live from the beginning because
I was,
this
and that's
was
why I had to skip to the end.
yeah, this is not about me tearing him down. I said that like 10 times already or 20 times on
And
the
it's not
live.
about
But
me
you
tearing him
are.
down
You
either.
don't see that because you're not FBA. You don't see it. What
We're
you're
not, what
doing.
is it called?
You don't
FDA? I'm
see it.
sorry. What are you
Foundational
saying
Black
that I'm
American.
not?
No, but that's the
Oh,
thing
I
because
didn't know that
there's two
term.
things I have to say about that, and then
Do you
the thing
think
is blocking it,
Kashnet
but
knew
there's
what
a
he was
P here.
doing when he
Give me a
said what
sec.
he
Give
said?
me a sec. Give me a
Do you
sec.
think so?
Give me a sec. Give me a sec because you touched on a few things. I have one question for you. Just keep it brief, and then I'll get into the 2 points I have. I won't forget them, and then we got to get there's the oh Paige. Paige is in here, so then I got to get to Paige. Okay, so the
Yeah.
first question I have for you, and just be brief with it, because then I'm gonna get to the two things that I had to rebut. The first question I have, you named a bunch of people I don't know. I know Sylvia because I met her in real life. But what you said we already have these people. What are you talking about?
They're not FBA. A lot of them are federal government informants, so they're put out here to bring down successful African Americans, successful FBAs
Okay.
with no reason. Like they have all of these innuendos, name callings, and twisting the narrative, just like your Tisa tells, right? And yes, there are some women out here that hate men for
Okay.
whatever reason. They have daddy issues, okay? But that's a whole other can of worms we can go into. Just like colorism is a whole other can of worms. Just like relationships, learning how to even want to be married. Those are conversations we can have later, Michelle. But this scenario was about a woman coming after him, and she's lying. Point blank, period.
Okay. Then now I want to get to that. Okay. Those are the points I need to make. This is this situation that you're isolating. That this situation that you're isolating is not the topic of this live. The topic of this live is a person who, and Shannon Sharpe, a person who does a lot of things that I feel are outside of integrity, are outside of concern for his community, are outside of concern and understanding for what people are seeing and how they are following him, and maybe a lack of awareness as well. And
Wendy
all
Williams.
I was doing was
Wendy Williams.
calling
There's
that
a lot.
out.
That's why I said been a lot of they're entertainers. This is what they do, right? So
Yeah,
you
you could
want
be
to
an
cancel
entertainer.
all those people,
Dave Chappelle
but
said Dave
you're
Chappelle said
using
no.
this scenario
Dave
to go
Chappelle
after him, and
said
that's
no.
what's wrong about it, Jay.
Audra, Dave Chappelle said no. You might need to look up Dave Chappelle's story. You probably already know
Dave
it, to be
Chappelle is
honest.
not someone I don't even watch his comedy skits.
Yeah.
If you're what
But
he
what I'm
has said,
saying
the
is
things that he has said,
Can I ask a
derogatory,
quick
nasty,
question?
no. What I'm
disgusting.
saying is he said no to he said
He's not a
no.
leader. He's
He
your
said
leader.
no.
He's
He
not
said
mine.
no. He said no. So you're a lot of people say like, oh, you can't say no or whatever, or they're playing a character. Some characters don't serve our community that well. If you
Dave
play a
Chappelle
character,
doesn't.
that's fine. If you play a character that doesn't serve your community that well, that's fine. Somebody says sometimes you got to play that character to get the bag, and then you could take care of your family with generational wealth. And I push back on that too. What I'm saying to you, Audra, is I've never been a fan of Shannon Sharpe, to be honest with you. Never. Even when he was playing football. I've never been a fan of Shannon Sharpe because I've never
I've never
found him.
sold dope, but I listen to
I've
that kind of
never
music.
found
I've
him to
never
be
found him
authentic.
interesting. Me
I've,
either.
I've never found him to be authentic. I've always found him to be a grifter, and I've always found him to be this is what I've seen. So I think that if Shannon Sharpe had $0 in his bank account, y'all would be not be saying the same thing that I'm like. You probably would be saying the same thing that I'm saying. Is what I'm saying. So
I'm letting you know that in our culture, in our neighborhoods, even if a person is on crack, we can call them auntie. Even if they're a prostitute, we can call them
maybe
auntie.
now I don't know how it was. I
No, this
haven't been
has
in the
been
hood
the
in
way it is.
15 years. I don't know,
Exactly.
but that's
And
not
at
how
the
it was
same
when I
time, you
was growing
still
up in the
better
hood.
not
Me
disrespect
either.
them. They're still
That
older.
that
They're
it
still your
maybe the terms
elder.
have changed.
But
Maybe this is an
this
age
falls
gap.
back to how you were raised. I know people 18 years old that wouldn't let a 70-year-old sit down in a chair. You're supposed to get up and let her, all because this lady was a prostitute.
Okay, I get
Okay,
it. But what I'm
so
saying is
so
when I
what?
was growing
She's
up,
still
But
an
not
elder. She's
calling
I'm
still
saying when
somebody
I
older.
was growing up,
I'm
auntie, unc, and OG, those are terms of endearment. You wouldn't call a crackhead that in my neighborhood. And you guys know I'm certified. Like, that's all I'm saying.
and
Like,
you still don't have to disrespect them either.
and you don't
Meaning
disrespect them either.
you
That's
don't
all I'm saying.
disrespect
I'm
them.
just saying
It's humanity.
maybe
You
we have
don't
a
do that.
different we have a different understanding, and maybe we grew up differently. Like I don't know. I haven't
Well, in the
been back
black
to the hood
community in
in
the
a little
80s,
while
particularly,
to
especially the
hang
80s,
out.
you either sold it or you used it most of the time.
Well, I didn't grow up in the 80s, but
I didn't. And let me tell you something. I grew up in the 80s, 70s. I'm born 1960. And what I'm trying to share with you that as a young woman, as a woman to woman, you have to be open to hear different ideas. Meaning, because Jay is stating that he sees Unc and OG differently, does not mean that he's not an FBA. Again, I
not,
just
but
heard
When
the
uncles in your
term. May
own
I finish
family,
something? I'm sorry, can I
you
finish,
don't want to be
please?
aroused,
May,
but you still
may I
call them
please
auntie
finish?
and uncle.
Okay, that's fine. I get it. Again, I honor you, right? I get it. But it doesn't mean because I don't, doesn't mean I disrespect people either. Like, so I just want to say one thing to you. I've never heard FBA before. Thank you. I never heard of that. And my daughter, who's 22, she had to tell me that it's foundational Black American. But she also told me that this term just came about in the 2000s, and that her understanding of it is it was made prominent because of a movie, a film director, right?
I just
I
learned it in the
mean,
last month, Michelle. My point
okay,
is,
no, I'm not, I'm
I'm
not
sorry to
finished.
cut
I'm
you
sorry,
off.
you're cutting me off. No, I'm
My point,
sorry, Audra.
my point is,
Please.
you don't
Okay.
understand our culture, right? That's
Right.
all.
But you just
This
learned this
culture.
in the last month, Audra. You
Yeah, I
just
just
said
learned the
that, right?
term, right?
Right.
But what
But
I'm
you
saying
also
is,
assumed I
what I've
was
been
white.
seeing on the internet, on YouTube for the
You
last 2
also
years,
assumed
for the last 2 years have been coming from people that are not FBA, who have
Can
been
I
tearing
comment?
down
Yes.
African American
Sorry. Can we just
FBA for no
give Paige
reason,
a
just
chance
for
to
hate.
speak?
It's
Hi,
innate
Paige.
hatred that you guys have.
Hi, Michelle. Thanks for letting me back, Jay. Um, when I was listening to the discussion, I wanted to weigh back in so that I could support Audra. I understand exactly what she's saying. And opinion is one thing, but I think what she's saying is that from a cultural perspective, that's the difference. And Michelle, even though you're black, once she really started asking you questions, we figured out you weren't a foundational black American. And that's no disrespect because we're all black. But I do
But
think
because you're a
I,
foundational
but
Black American
can I
doesn't
finish?
mean you know
But
you
can I
are a
finish speaking
foundational
though,
Black
Michelle?
American.
Well, what
No,
that means
just a
is that
minute,
your
please.
family.
It means your family, but do you know your family? Just because I say I'm black, do I really know what it means to be black? Yes, I do. Do you really know what it means to be FDA? Do you just know it, or are you just taking up a term and finding out that the criteria is if you're black people are black enslaved, then you're from here and you never left here and your blood's here. That's who you are. Is that all you know about it? Because I like to learn about it, not other than being judged by
Can I
not knowing
respond to
about
you,
it.
Paige? I'm sorry. Can I respond to you,
Yeah, you
Michelle?
definitely can. Can you tell me how
Okay.
much you know about what makes you this? What makes you that?
Okay. Well, the first thing I want to say is her point
What makes you
is
that?
that there's a cultural difference. That's her point. And so I'm just kind of adding to that point. So we're all black. All of us on this chat are black, right? But I think foundational Black Americans have noticed that there's like a different mindset from Black people that are not descended from slaves. And so that's what she's commenting on. And
But
what
all
she's
the
saying is
but
that
oh, sorry, Paige.
I don't know if
Sorry,
you
my
heard
bad.
of, that's okay. I don't know if Jay, I don't know if you heard about the controversy with Essence Fest.
Yes.
Right. So I think, foundational Black Americans are getting a little tired of people speaking for everybody and they're not
Right.
really speaking for everybody. So
Right.
your perspective is perfectly valid. It's perfectly valid. But I think what she's commenting on is, you know, we've been through so much, so many fights, so many battles in this country. We see things a certain way, and I think she's absolutely right about it's not being a leader or not necessarily respected position. You uncle, you sis, or you TT, you auntie, because you family. You my cousin because we family. It's a certain way we're all family.
Exactly.
So real quick, Paige,
I respect that.
you call crackheads unc and auntie?
First, well, absolutely. That's the short
Okay.
answer.
Gotcha.
Absolutely. And I also don't think of it like, I wouldn't use a term that harsh to describe somebody that I thought was drug addicted. Um, but if I'm being perfectly honest, I have my real auntie, may be, addicted to a substance, but we've been through enough with each other to understand the dynamics of certain things.
Does
I
it
think
does
that's what Audra is saying.
do you would your grandparents, I'm assuming that you're FBA too?
Yes.
Would your grandparents call the crackheads auntie and unc?
Well, I think one of the ways that I learned community is from my grandparents. For example, my grandmother, she had a period of time where she would feed everybody. Like it didn't matter. We even every single night we used to go out and feed the stray dogs from our leftover scraps and stuff, in addition to having people come into our home. So that when I really think about my life growing up, we used to live right next door to a quote unquote PIMP and his
Mhm.
HO, you know what? But
Mhm.
we didn't take it like that's a reason to be disrespectful. We've come along. Only recently have we been able to separate, and some of us moved to the suburb, and some of us moved somewhere else. But That was a period of time that even I recall where we all were just together. The
No,
pastor, the
same with
this,
my family,
that.
but I mean, I've never been at, like, we might say bro or sis or lady or ma'am or sir or the N word or the B word. There's many different
Nothing
words.
So
disrespectful,
Not,
Jay,
like you,
yeah, but
no
nothing
we
was
disrespect.
probably
ever,
we
it was
has it
never
ever
unk
occurred to you that
or
maybe it was
sis.
FBAs that started auntie and uncle in the first place?
No, it's not. It's
Oh
not at
I'm
all.
wow.
I'm just saying. So the way you use it though is not the
FDA
same
didn't
way
start to
that we use it.
2001, and
And I
Unk
use the
came
term
out when I
crackhead
was.
not to be disrespectful. I don't even use that term in my normal life, right? I'm using that term to express a point. That's it. So when it comes to our people, you if you lived around us in the 80s, 90s, you either used it or you sold it, right? And in parts of New York, I know that it was big on heroin. That was not big down south, you know. So and this fentanyl, it's a lot of drugs that are going to spin the block or revamp or become new. That has nothing to do with nothing. The point is regarding aunt and uncle. You're right about it being a term of endearment, right? But what I'm saying is, when it comes to you on this panel trying to tear down his character, because that's what it boils down to,
It
okay?
doesn't boil down to that. That's why I got
You
to get
didn't
off that
choose to
train.
do that though before this allegation came
That,
forward.
That's
no,
confusing because I
I've
never heard
always,
anything being
I've
torn down.
always,
I mean,
no, I've
That's what he's
always,
doing,
I've
though.
no,
That's
I've
what you're
always
doing.
been against people
how
with
do you
no
see that?
integrity. Integrity. You know, the crazy thing is, we didn't even get actually to the lawsuit. We started at the
No.
beginning. We didn't even get there because I didn't have enough time. We didn't even get to what he was accused of. So for you to say I'm using this snow bunny to tear down his character, we didn't even get there.
And
We
that's another
got to the
thing. What I
we got to
find
the we hold
is
up.
that you guys have
We
no
got to the
respect for
recording.
Caucasians either. You calling her a snow bunny? Great. Okay.
The reason why I'm
You
calling
know,
her snow bunny because I don't respect white women that try to take advantage of rich
And
black
he
men.
has every right to
I don't
be that
respect it.
way.
I don't have to call you
Right.
your
that's what I'm
particular
saying. That's
pronoun.
why the
I don't
protesters
respect you. If
put
I
on
don't
the
respect
mask
you, I'm
and
not
they
gonna
throw
call you
guns
by
at
your
moving
pronoun
cars,
and I'm
throw
not gonna
rocks
call
at
you by
moving
your name.
cars and shoot. I get it. They're protesting. That's the way they protest. They have all of that energy here, but why not have that same energy where you're from? That's what I'm saying. Like,
The
you
white person
have
you're
this
saying?
energy against
What do you
him,
mean?
but you have that same energy against your own people. Because you said, Jay, on some of your lives, right, about where you come from in the islands. You think I don't know about your culture there? Yes, I know.
Wait,
I don't
My
think you
if
know
you're
pastor
from
because you
from
down
just
south,
the last church I went to, he was Bahamian from the Bahamas. All of the people in his family were in that
I'm so
industry, selling their
confused.
bodies. I know. I
no, but I
studied
don't
different
understand. I don't
cultures.
Well,
understand
I'm
you. But wait.
confused. I'm
I don't understand where you're
They're
confused.
going.
not
Hold on.
white.
We were
Let's
talking
not do
about the snow
that.
bunnies.
A lot
We
of
were
our
talking about the
Let's
people
snow
not
here
do
bunnies.
that.
have integrity.
No,
We
no,
have integrity.
we were talking about the snow bunnies, and you said that I
Right.
don't respect white people, and I said I don't respect
Respect
broke
Right.
white
her.
women.
Yeah.
Exactly, I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
respect broke white women that try to take advantage of successful black men. So I'm not gonna call them white women. I'm not gonna call them white females. I'm not gonna call them white anything. I'm gonna call them snow
They're not
bunnies
white
because I'm gonna
either.
call them. I'm gonna whatever they are. I don't care what they
Right.
are. I'm gonna call you outside
I
your
mean,
name
if
if
you're
I don't
going by
respect you.
color, they're pink. They're not white.
Okay,
But I
Okay.
whatever.
You
call them
I'm
can,
gonna
and he
call
has
you
Caucasians
every
outside
because
your
right
name
to
if I
that's
do
what
don't
they
that.
call
respect you.
themselves.
If
But
I
I'm
don't
just saying, you're
respect you.
calling her a snow bunny. Everyone knows that's a derogatory term when it comes to a Caucasian female.
Okay,
You
let's
know,
hold on
so
a
you have
second.
that type of
First of
energy.
all, are you not,
And
you are
and
not
that's
But at the
fine.
same
defending
time,
that.
you're tearing him
No,
down,
no,
and you
wait,
know what
hold
she's
on.
capable of.
No, I'm
Excuse me.
not
Can I
tearing him
say
down.
one thing? Okay.
We didn't get there.
How can you defend the word snow bunny when you came on asking me if I was white? Like, you are confusing me. I want to have a real
Because respect
conversation
is due
here.
to a dog,
But
even.
respect is given by whomever wants to give it. Nobody has
But you
deserves
don't know
anything.
her. I
But
don't know
what's
her.
wrong
It
with
doesn't
And you
asking you
know a
if
matter.
little
you're
It
bit
white
about
doesn't
her
though?
matter.
character.
Okay, hold on a second, please.
Michelle,
You
what's
can't
wrong with
fight the
asking you if
world.
you're white?
It's wait, what does it matter?
Because we're having a
What does it
conversation
matter?
about race. and culture.
May I say something? No. We had a
Sure.
conversation about Unc and OG. That's what we had a conversation about. And when I said what I said, in her mind, because you know why? It seems to me that definitions like white, you have a conception of all people being that way. And a person who's not, whom you think should be on the same wavelength of you, can't possibly know what you're talking about. Like you generalize. And that's very confusing to me. All I'm saying is, it doesn't matter if that's how he sees things and says things. What we are doing here is trying to understand why people, which I'm learning to understand why you say Unc and OG potentially to drug addicted people or people that somebody might look, you're saying people that look down upon others. Again, he never
You guys are
said
looking
that he
down
looked
on
down.
them.
He never, but again, respect is not about if you're smoking crack or not, right?
Respect
Because
is this.
I respect,
Respect is
no, for
is
me,
first off speaking on the issue at hand, which is
you
that
keep
woman
cutting me off.
lying, so that she
I
can
can't.
correct her behavior. Because she can go around and lie on anybody and get away with it. This is the lane that we live in. So as Black Americans, we have to use our platforms. If you want to be a part of us, Black Americans, you have to use your platforms for the power that you know you have, which is to call out what is really going on. And yes, she has pink privilege. She has that privilege, right? To take him down.
Okay, so
So we need to
that's
focus
also
on that
contradictory, right? Because
regarding
he
his
said that
character.
she
You
was a
don't
snow
know him.
bunny,
You don't
and you're
know
saying
him.
don't do
You
that.
watch a
I
few
mean,
clips
I
of his
can't.
life on the internet where
Jay,
he's
I
acting
Hold
really
up, hold up.
appreciate you having me on,
Yeah, you
but
got.
this level of conversation for me is taking me to places I've not visited in a very long time. I
Hey, you
want to have
got.
a really mature conversation, not with I'm white, you're black, you're green, you're orange. You can't say this, you can't believe that. That's not what this is about. That's for another channel. That's not what he's even talking about. We're so off topic that you're taking his show as a hostage. And he's not talking about Pan-African. He's not talking about none of that. He's talking about Unc and OG. And then we got into, you can't say snow bunny, you can't say white. Are you white? Because if you're not all the way black, you ain't all the way black. Like, this is not about that. It is about learning how people do
But you're
come to
over here talking
understand.
about him.
I'm
You
not,
recognize
it
he's
is about
FBA, right?
learning.
So why you
It is
not
about
talking about your
learning.
people from Trinidad or wherever you're
It's
from?
about
May
Talk
I?
learning.
about them.
I'm
Yeah,
May
talking
I?
about humanity.
May I?
Namras.
I'm
This is
Yeah, so
talking
we got
about
a couple.
humanity.
Enamourist.
Sorry,
Miss
sorry.
Michelle.
Hold up.
Miss Michelle.
Give me,
How are you?
and Namras. Give me one second. We gotta.
Hi.
Okay.
Whoever's been here longest, like, let's just take some. Oh well. Okay, let's just leave it for a second because and Namras was talking to Michelle. So, go ahead. Just leave that. But we gotta start. We got a lot of people on, so like we gotta start moving it down. All right, see, you got that.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So go
What
ahead, and
I was,
Amraz, I'm gonna leave
Okay.
Michelle beyond because you speaking directly to her.
Well, I
what I
wanted
was
to say
saying was,
this.
oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I was wanting to say that I totally get what you're saying, and I get what the other two young ladies are saying also. But what we have is just like the younger guy came on and he said he gave definitions of what he felt OG and Unc meant, or what it means to you all now. I get that, but and the culture divide is a lot of things on here right now. This show started out with Jay giving, he didn't bring Shannon Sharpe down. Really, if we look at it a different way, he's trying to implement things that could make Shannon Sharpe better. Maybe that would make you happier. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way either. What he's saying is that, just like you said, Shannon Sharpe in your eyes is way up here. He's out here for the public to see. He's out here for younger ones to be impressed by. They're impressionable at this point. And to include all of these other things that are going on, the behavior that he's displaying, it it takes away from who he really could be. It's someone that most of us wouldn't say, hey, Unc, and go to for some knowledge.
Right.
Even with the way he does business, the things that we've seen taking place out here. Yes, he has a great, channel, but this man was on national TV. He was out there for every young boy to see. He was out there for young men to see, college boys that were going to school, businessmen. And what he has kind of proved in a very bad way is that, and I don't even know if I can say the word, but how they used to say, once an in, always an in.
Yeah.
He's doing things that it brings down the power of the boys growing up right now. It does, because he's out here putting on this display, and they look at, as you would say sometimes, Audra, black men, black women. You put them all, well, she's gone, all these men and women in the same, pool. And if they're looked at like that, well, if you hire him, this is where it's going to go. Or you can hire him that way, but we can change him and convert him into this. There has to be something that they represent and that they stand on and that they're really good at, and it shouldn't be the negative. So with the young girl, a lot of men want to be with young girls, but there's a way to do things. And if you don't have the skill to be on the OnlyFans page, then you ought not be there. If you don't have that kind of game, stay on the football field.
But whatever you do, have integrity and morals. You know what I'm saying? Because my grandma said, whatever you do, be proud of it. And if you're not proud of it, don't do it. So, just have integrity. It's real simple. And I think what Jay is saying is that, it's not that, and if you don't want to believe it, people do look up to him. He's everywhere and he's being hyped up by entertainment, by the news, right? That, the show he did with Cat Williams, right? Just things. So people are looking up to him, and it is not someone who has earned, in my mind, now it could be in anybody else's mind, my mind, respect as far as Unc or as far as OG. So again, I understand we definitely have cultural differences here, and it has nothing to do with that, all my people weren't slaves. It's
my
definitely,
God.
it's definitely for me about perhaps, like she says she's from down south. I want to tell you, I just moved down here. I'm from New York and I was in California. And down south is very different. I love it here. I love the people. I love the atmosphere. But if I were doing business and working and hustling and try to get it done, I would not come here for that. It's just a different mindset. So not in a bad way, not in a good way.
Yeah,
It's
we have a
just
different way
different
of
for
getting
me.
it down here.
It's
We
just
have a different
different,
way of
right?
getting it. Yes,
And
we do.
for me to be here at this age is perfect for me, and I'm enjoying it. But the whole thing I want to say for us as women, right? Whether anybody, any man, age or not, because he had some behavioral traits in there that had not much to do with age. Just how he handles women is in a manner which, no woman should want to be handled in. We should look at that. And that
Well,
is
yeah.
given by rich people, poor people, black people, white people, old people, young people. And all I'm coming is from a place of humanity. And I don't want anyone to think that, like, I don't know Jay personally. I've only been following him since the Sean trial, but I met him through, again, YouTube, through Sean G, but I connect with him because he's smart, and he's also can go in many layers of one's mind. That's why I really connect with him. He can talk to my daughter, or he could talk to me, or he could talk to, Trump, or he can talk to CNN. Like, he's very smart, but he's not
He
he's
can.
not arrogant,
He's great at
and he's honest.
conversations.
Yeah, he's
Exactly.
honest.
Very open
And
and honest.
he makes me think, I don't know about you, like, I don't know, when I leave him, I'm like, oh man, I didn't think about that. Or wow, I didn't know that, like I learned here tonight about, this FD. I can't. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I
I
don't, you know,
I didn't
they,
know about
again,
that.
but again, with that, that's something else that they've created. That's
Mm,
not what we would know. I mean, it's the
right.
same thing, different name. So
I
it's
agree. I
not
agree.
necessarily the cultures. It's,
I
and really,
agree.
if we get into that, culture doesn't really change, people do. And
Amen.
just like that, this new title that they've created is not a title that we've ever known, but it's the same movement, different name.
Same
So
movement. I like
right.
that.
So it's
I
just
like that.
like when, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but Audra, the way that she would speak at you, and you already said you
Oh
were born
yeah.
in 1960. I'm born in
Yeah.
1972. However,
Okay.
and she called you Michelle. I would never do that. And that's one of the
Okay. Well, are
differences.
you from down south? Are you from down here?
I am. I'm in the
Okay, of
Tennessee
course you would.
area.
People do that to me all the time. I get it, and I would
Yeah,
say it's
we would
okay if
never
you call
do
me
it.
Michelle. No, you wouldn't.
Right. No, we
No.
wouldn't do it. And my
Mm-mm.
nieces and nephews don't call me by my first name, and we just we don't do that. So
It's
that's
different.
what's
Right.
changing. The younger
Yeah.
generation they didn't teach that. So,
Right.
I mean,
Guys, I've gotta start wrapping up. Thank you, ladies,
Well,
by the
thank
way.
you so much,
And
Jay,
I
for
want
this.
just my pleasure. Real quick, Con Enigma has been waiting patiently to say something. So I want to get you in, and then we're gonna wrap up. Con Enigma, you there?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Ye- Okay. Yeah, I enjoyed your coverage on the Diddy trial, but I'm gonna make it real quick because I can't be on it too long. But I'm born in the '70s and I was born down south, stayed in the projects, all that. So it's just when you're talking about the word unk, you have to always go back to different times. You got the '70s, you got the '60s, you got the '80s. Over time, that kind of changed a little bit. Depends on the different culture that's coming up. So, that can mean anything. It can mean you talk about actually a family member, or you can talk about somebody that's actually known in the neighborhood. So
Correct.
when you're saying unk, you got to know who you referring to, a family member or somebody in the neighborhood. But I just want to go back to what you
Agreed.
said about Shannon Sharpe because I want to stay on topic.
Mm,
With Shannon Sharpe, I get what you're saying. Yes, there's some things that happened in his past, things that happened in the past to him. He should have like, hey, I don't want to go down that route. I need to kind of move a little bit different. I got eyes on me. There's people out there looking, so I need to kind of move different than just a regular person, just regular everyday person. So I get what you're saying on that. I agree.
I appreciate that. And you say you were born in the '70s?
Yeah, yeah. Dallas, Texas,
Okay.
the South.
Okay, amazing. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Now, real quick, if you could just weigh in on the conversation we were having about these terms. Do you usually, because for me, I've always grown up, if you call somebody uncle, auntie, or OG, original,
Yeah.
that's most for me growing up, that was a term of endearment. That wasn't just you call anybody. Was that the
No.
same thing? Was you were growing up as well?
Yeah, you don't just call anybody uncle. That was more if it's family member. Okay, yeah, of course we know it's uncle,
Gotcha. Okay,
but
gotcha.
somebody that's not a family member, somebody known in the neighborhood. Yeah,
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 and when you say
yeah. I
known,
agree with
known
you.
and respected, if they're just known and not respected in the neighborhood, if it's somebody causing havoc in the neighborhood, somebody in the neighborhood is just like kind of you know not necessarily the greatest person that people look up to, you probably wouldn't call them that, right?
No, well, it can be kind of borderline. It could be somebody that, let's say, somebody that's known in the neighborhood. They selling drugs, but
Mm.
usually when they see the younger,
Right, right, right.
they see the younger kid. They say, hey, we don't want you doing drugs. You need to do something with your life or something. We
Exactly.
don't
That's the
want you doing
and
so.
I
Yeah.
appreciate, yeah, and I appreciate that, brother, because that's the thing. That's the only point I was trying to make on this live. That we're now going on
Mhm.
4 hours. But that's the only point I was trying to make on this live. And I know a lot of people got on a little bit late, and a lot of people got sucked in by
Yeah.
the thumbnail, which we'll do a better job with later on down the road as we get better at YouTube. Because obviously, you guys know we just started 5 weeks ago. But what I was really trying to make a point of is when you're going to give somebody the title of looking up to them, which to me the title of Unc or OG or something like that, it's not because they were a football player. It's not because they got rich somehow. It's not because they're an actor, rapper, anything like that. It's because they're guiding people with wisdom. It's because they're making sure that they're encouraging people in the right direction and so on and so forth, not because they're a funny and acting goofy type thing.
Yeah, it can be interchangeable. So yes, yes, and no, because Snoop Dogg, a lot of people call him Unc. He said, "Hey nephew,"
Hmm.
and I grew up on Snoop Dogg, dog.
Hmm.
But I'm not. I don't really fall out to him like that because
Right.
I know what he do. So I'm like, no, I'm not calling him no Unc.
That's a real good example. That's a very, very good example.
Yeah,
Thank you for coming on and sharing that with us, because
yeah,
that's a perfect example. Snoop Dogg is a perfect example, and you are perfect. Like Shannon Sharpe is the example of Snoop Dogg, and you're the example of me, right?
yeah.
What
Mhm.
I was saying early on this live was I don't look up to stuff like that. Like I
No,
don't look up to pretending to drink Hennessy at 9 o'clock in the morning on national
no,
television. I don't look up to people with not like they don't have a lot of integrity and stuff like that. I just don't look up to it. So that's why if you see the thumbnail it says you're not unk to me. Not you're
yeah,
not uncle to us. And you have a different perspective because you grew up with Snoop Dogg, you're born in the 70s. You
yeah,
guys are probably kind of around the same age. And so for
yeah,
you, you're like, that's that people call him nephew. He doesn't do the things that I agree with that I would do in my
yeah,
life. And I think it was Ray that came on the live earlier that was saying everybody has a different perspective of what Unc is. And there was
yeah,
somebody in the chat that said, "Yo, Unc to me, if he's funny and if he's this and that, then that's good
yeah,
for me."
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So it does have a different meaning to everybody. But if anybody is here on the live, and I'm gonna let you guys all you guys say your goodbyes. But if anybody's here on the live right now, this whole thing was about be careful who you follow.
yeah,
Um, all of us look up to leaders in different ways, but be careful who you follow because we want to make sure that the next generation coming behind us and even the people
mhm,
beside us, we're all on the right path. That's what this whole thing was about. Um,
yeah.
Exactly.
I appreciate it. But yes, if Michelle B, then Paige, and then Con Enigma, and then Anna Meras, if in that order, if you guys can just say your last words, and we're gonna wrap up. And just keep
Well,
it
this is
like 30
Michelle.
seconds to 60 seconds, please.
Of course. Thank you. I just want to say thank you for the experience. It's been great. And I'm going to keep following you. And again, it's very thoughtful. I've learned a lot. And again, um, just keep doing what you're doing, Jay. And for being here for 5 weeks, you are definitely where you're supposed to be. And I'm going to support you. And again, I just want to say thank you. And thanks. It was great talking to other people here as well. Even you, Audra. I don't know if you're still here, but thank you.
I
Have a good
appreciate
night,
you.
everybody.
Have a good night. Paige.
Okay, well, the conversation got really good. I like tension in the conversation. So as long as everybody's being respectful, that's something that I like. But I think she was just talking about cultural perspective. I don't think just because you're black, that means you speak for like all the little different segments of black. Like, for
Right.
example, I wouldn't think that I could comment on being a Caribbean black. I like whatever the lingo is, whatever. I don't think that that would be good for me to comment on.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, if I had been living there for a generation, I would feel more comfortable. But if somebody was telling me, well, this is a multi-generational thing, I might be persuaded by that. So I
Right.
think that's all Audra was trying to say.
Absolutely. And thank you, Audra. I know Audra's left, but thank you, Audra. Appreciate it. And thank you, Paige. Thank you for being on. And then I think I said I don't know whoever's next is next. There's only two of y'all, so whoever speaks first.
I can go. I can go.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just I appreciate you having me on the show, and I just say this: it starts at home. I raised 3 girls on my own for 11 plus years, and they all graduated, and I have my son. So just I just look at it as it starts at home. Raise your kids in the right directions. I'm a Christian, so I raise my kids biblically, and that's pretty much. And I try to be an example for them. That's
That's right.
all I have.
That's right. Yeah, praise the Lord, and thank you. Appreciate that. And I appreciate you
You
being calling in and being a part of the show today. And Anamres, am I pronouncing
E-
your name right?
Enamorous.
Enamres.
Yes.
Yeah, you got
Yes.
the floor.
Well, I just want to thank you for giving the brothers and sisters something to think about. We are representatives of our mothers and fathers, and we should get out here and be exactly that. Um, and like you said, you weren't bringing Shannon Sharpe down. I remember what this started out as. And like I said, I thank you for giving people something to look at. Maybe in the way someone tomorrow will see someone that they say, oh, that's who Jay was talking about. That's not
Right.
Unc, right?
Hmm.
So, yeah, it's more about the cultural change. And I just want to say to everyone, I'm 53 years old, and what my mom did worked. So if we stop changing what worked, then culture stays, and then we can
Right.
really learn it. That's it. And thank you. I'll
My
continue to
pleasure.
support you.
I
Have a
appreciate it.
great
Thank
night.
y'all. Hey, you as well. You as well. Y'all, I said I was gonna be gone by 8, then I said I was gonna be gone by 9, and now it's a minute to 10. So I appreciate everybody being out here. I do got to get going, so I appreciate all you guys. I'm gonna have to close up the chat. See, thank you so much for moderating this and making sure that everybody got on and making sure that people got comments. So I really appreciate you. You have something to say? You on?
I just wanted to say, yeah, I was very entertained with this conversation, and I wish the entire thing was, this topic. It was good, and I just kept feeding the fire the more I saw people coming in.
All right, man.
and
Yeah.
I like to see where people's minds are at as well. Just being somebody who's of mixed race in Jamaica, I like hearing these different perspectives and the FBA thing and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. And guys, we always welcome challenge to our belief system because that's how we learn, that's how we grow, and that's how we become better. As you guys already know, as I always say, I know it's late, but still, whatever you could do today, don't put off until tomorrow. Go and be great. Greatness is a choice, and that choice is made with every single decision that you decide to make in every moment of every day. God bless you all. Have a good night, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.